The rain continues to sweep its way south and eastwards as we go through Monday daytime. As I mentioned, it's across the north that we see those winds continue to intensify through Monday afternoon. Western coast of Scotland and then later across the north coast of Aberdeenshire is where we're likely to see the peak of winds, 80 to 85, potentially 90 miles an hour. And with those strong winds, despite temperatures being pretty similar to Sunday, it'll be feeling much cooler and much fresher and probably quite unpleasant further north. Tuesday, those winds are a notch down compared to Monday, but it will still be a breezy start to the day, particularly across the north and the west. Plenty of blustery showers feeding in on that northwesterly wind, but generally staying drier further south with plenty of sunshine. And it looks a little drier for all of us on Wednesday. And then perhaps turning a little bit warmer as we go through the second half of the week.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
I'm Andrew Pearce. This is GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camila Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camila Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
I'm Bev Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, very good morning to you. The Home Office has launched a huge new drive to, guess what, smash the gangs. £100 million funding boost.
Well, 300 new National Crime Agency officers and high-tech surveillance tools will be deployed across borders.
But does it sound like you've heard it all before?
To go after the criminal gangs, to smash the gang networks.
To smash the smuggling gangs.
Smash the gangs. To smash the gangs.
Well, with record-breaking numbers of small boats reaching British shores each week, the question on everyone's lips, can the government regain control of our borders?
University asylum crackdown. Places of higher education could be barred from accepting foreign students if institutions don't tighten up checks. It's all part of a wider push to fix the broken immigration system. What do you think?
Furious storm Flores. Trains and ferries are cancelled as danger to life warning is issued for parts of the UK, with gusts reaching up to 85 miles per hour.
Thousands of drivers who bought cars on finance before 2021 now could be in line for a payout after the ruling on Friday. The financial watchdog is looking at a compensation scheme that could cost the industry billions.
US sanctions loom for Russia as Donald Trump's Ukraine peace deadline draws to a close, with Putin defiant and relations between the two leaders now at breaking point.
Which brings us to Melania Trump in the Situation Room. The First Lady's touted as the woman behind the president's foreign policy. But we're asking, should spouses stay out of politics, or does it make it all the more interesting?
And sport this morning, I tell you, an incredible test. Could have an incredible end today. England need 35 runs to seal it this morning, while India need 4 wickets to draw the series. Lando Norris wins the Hungarian Grand Prix as Lewis Hamilton underperforms again and is not very happy. And we've got the British Lion who can finally meet his daughter.
Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds for many of us on Monday, with an amber weather warning in force this morning. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
Hello there, very good morning to you on this Monday morning. You're starting your day and you're starting your week for us. Thank you for that. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Hello, everybody. The gang's back, the band's back together again.
Yeah, everybody's been away.
I haven't seen you in a month, Paul.
I know.
Yeah.
And have you missed me? Yes.
Have I not?
Yes,
no.
me as well.
And you as well, then.
And me as well. Did you have a nice holiday? Did you have a nice break?
Well, it's nice to get out, isn't it?
And nice to not get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
But then you come back to Storm Flores, which you say is a nice-sounding name.
Lovely sounding name.
Right. Is it a boy's name or a girl's name?
Girl's name. It's really cute. Don't you think it's a nice
Not a
name?
girl's name.
Is it not?
No, that's what makes it even more wild.
You're kidding me.
Flores is a boy's name, right?
Is it?
Yes.
Where from?
Why can't we go again? Let's interrogate Eamonn. Eamonn makes these things up. He lies about these things every day.
No, you're the fountain of all knowledge. Sorry, let me just...
Font of all knowledge.
Have you known a Flores?
What?
Have you known
Never
anybody called
heard
Flores?
or met a Flores in my life.
Right.
Right, so it's supposed to be somebody that works in the Met Office, isn't it? And they say,
yeah,
it's Storm Paul or Storm Eamonn or whatever.
That's right.
Or Storm Ellie. Well, this is Storm Flores.
Can I say you're not wrong? He's not wrong. It's a Dutch name, a man's name, meaning flower.
Flourish.
Well.
Means Flores. Yeah, meaning flower.
Flourish.
I've got another one for you.
Yeah.
Do you know or do you remember what a florin was?
No.
He will.
What's a florin?
It's a coin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2 bob, wasn't it?
Oh, don't no. Now you're going to get into trouble.
It was a bit more than 2 bob.
A florin.
It was a tenth of a pound.
Right. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How do you know Flores is a man? So when have you heard of Flores?
Because I'll tell you, I couldn't get to sleep last night, right? So I was lying in bed, and at 2:10, it was a choice of either phoning you or looking up what Storm Flores was all.
Thank goodness you chose Storm Flores.
Some research.
Just what I did, yeah.
You know what we do.
Very good.
Well, I really like it as a name, and I'm quite upset it's a Storm's name.
But you think it's a woman's name?
Well, I don't. Well, you've educated me now.
And I think it's a woman's name. Sounds very feminine.
Yeah.
There
But anyway,
we go.
it's going to hit Scotland today.
Yeah, well, if you're a florist, let us know. But we've never met one, we've never heard of one, so let us know about that.
Maybe we'll see lots of babies called Flores in 9 months' time,
Do you
because
know
that's what happens.
I wouldn't be holding my breath
Okay.
about that. 6 minutes past 6. No, it's a lie. That clock says 6 minutes past, and that clock says 5 minutes past. But anyway, make up your mind. Top stories. What, Ellie?
The government has committed an extra £100 million in efforts to smash people smuggling gangs.
Well, the additional funding will go towards the one-in, one-out return scheme with France, and it'll pay for 300 more National Crime Agency officers, alongside new technology to improve intelligence gathering.
Well, the changes come as figures reveal over 25,000 small boat migrants have entered the UK this year alone.
The Home Secretary claims Labour have set the foundations for a new and much stronger law enforcement approach. Joining me now to laugh at all this, to discuss all this, the former Conservative advisor, Oscar Reddrop. What a lot of bunk. Why are we wasting 100 million on this?
I thought you were going to say...
Yeah, I thought you were going to say...
Me and Ellie kind of went... But no, it's really, really difficult with things like this because, you know, and obviously I was part of a Conservative government and I was at number 10 during the Rwanda scheme, which wasn't hugely successful, it's safe to say. So I don't like going
Well, we don't know if the scheme wasn't successful.
Well, true,
Yeah.
very true, very true. It was never actually, we never properly got it on its feet. I think a deterrent, when you look at where we're at now, actually would be a good thing. Nevertheless, so I sometimes get almost nervous about going too studs up on this stuff because people could turn around and go, well, you Tories, you know, didn't do particularly well at all. But honestly, I mean, it's the fastest time in the year that we've hit that 25,000 people crossing the channel. Things have got worse, and this is a joke. It's a joke, and actually, it's a really bizarre joke because politically, whichever party, and obviously Labour have an advantage here of being the ones in the hot seat, they can actually implement and do things and achieve things. Whichever party solves this issue, I think pretty much wins the next general election. And Labour have the stirrups. They can do this.
Well, this is the number one issue for voters.
This is the number one issue for voters. Here we go, Labour Party. If you solve this mission, if you solve this, you could win the next election. And it feels like just over a year into this government's story, they've given up. This announcement today on a quiet August Monday morning, politically,
But you know what I think is worse?
It's giving up. It's giving up.
Well, what if they actually don't know they've given up? What if they actually don't know there's no incentive in France for all of this, you know? That would annoy me more, that would worry me more, that they actually haven't got the wit to realise this has no chance of working.
No chance of working. It is a relatively small amount of money, unfortunately. And the real thing here is they're pushing this 100 million quid into something that is clearly not working.
Yeah.
So they're actually, this is counterproductive. They're wasting money. These organised, like, these are brutal crime organisations that profiteer off these channel crossings. They won't see this announcement. That's a joke. But they would be, if they did see this announcement, they would be laughing at it, laughing at it.
And the sad reality is another 100 million. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but it's not going to move the needle at all.
It's not
on this issue.
It's not going to move the needle at all. And honestly, you know, and you showed it quite effectively there. The amount of government ministers we see come on TV shows and they go, "Smash the gangs, smash the gangs. We're going to smash the gangs. We're going to smash the gangs." It is nothing but a hollow soundbite. And announcements like this actually even just highlight that more. In many ways. And I mean purely politically, because yes, okay, we push some more money in, we show proactivity, maybe we can detect the gangs a little bit quicker upstream. But in many ways, politically, they'd be better off not announcing this because it looks like an afterthought. It looks like, oh, that's just, I don't know, panic stations. We can't solve this. Let's chuck a few million quid at this black hole that isn't working in terms of this crime agency. It's clearly not working. We need a deterrent. And then, again, what we'll see, maybe we'll see the Reform Party, we'll see the Conservatives come out. You know, they're talking about stuff like deportation. They're talking about, you know, real-world deterrence, reducing that pull factor. And I just don't understand it politically. I don't get it.
But do you get, Oscar, from your time as a Conservative advisor, we just ran a whole sequence of various ministers, from the Home Secretary, the Prime Minister, whatever, the Foreign Secretary, all saying the phrase, smash the gangs. And therefore, they believe, this is what gets me about politicians, that I laugh out loud. They think we're all stupid enough that we will follow this and think, oh, yes, that's a magic phrase to use. That's wonderful. Saying so makes it so, but it doesn't, does it?
It doesn't. And if they think that, you know, in like pubs and, you know, up and down the country, and in offices, you know, around breakfast tables, they've got people receiving those messages and turning to, you know, oh, well, I do, you know what, this Labour, they really are smashing the gangs, aren't they? If they think that somehow entered into the public discussion, they are so wrong. If anything, it's being hit over.
And it adds to the public anger, doesn't it? And I mean, we've seen upset in Epping, haven't we? And we've seen upset elsewhere in the country now. And we had Nigel Farage talking yesterday, saying that this is a national security crisis. The only people who don't seem to understand that are the political class in Westminster.
Yeah.
What do you make of what his comments?
Yeah. These are really, really serious times. You know, things are kind of feel slightly on a precipice in terms of trust, that kind of social fabric, that the pillars that we hold very dear as a nation. You know, this issue kind of cuts to the heart of that. And watching, you know, and admittedly, it is governments of different makeups and different parties failing on it, is really pushing a lot of the British people to like a real acute pressure point. And to be fair, I'm going to really try here. You know, to be fair to someone like Yvette Cooper, who is a very experienced in politics, who does is working very hard behind the scenes on this. She will know that an announcement like today should have been given her piece of paper to go out to media. She would have seen the policy and she would have groaned. She would have said, I know this isn't going to cut the mustard. It's probably why they're doing it in August. If I'm honest, they're just like, oh, let's just chuck that out there and hope no one really notices. And that is a pathetic way to run government.
People do notice, Oscar. We see the protests in London and around the country, in Manchester yesterday, about these hotels which have been commandeered, and it just goes on and on and on. And if a political party doesn't get hold of this and doesn't solve this, they do not win the next election. It is as simple as that. And at this moment in time, I would confidently state that the Labour Party under Keir Starmer and their handling of this issue have lost the next election.
Yeah, as we sit here now, he is the wrong messenger. He has the wrong message for the wrong time, unfortunately. And it's interesting when you talk about the protests. We've seen how they've kind of moved the protests. The vibe of the protests has changed a year on. You know, if you look at Epping, for example, as we sit here now, and these things can bubble over, as we know, so I'm not, you know, being complacent. As we sit here now, the vast majority of people are just regular mums and dads.
Yeah.
And so that far-right stuff that we heard this time last year in terms of those from Keir Starmer, you know, that just shows, once again, just how out of step he kind of is with how things have moved to now. These are regular families, just mums and dads who are worried.
And we can see that, can't we, on the streets in Epping now? We're looking at the pictures on the screen. I mean, it's mums holding up placards saying, I'm not right-wing, I just care about my children, I'm worried about my children.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact they're having to justify their presence with placards like that, I mean, that's the situation that we were in after the rhetoric from Keir Starmer last summer.
Yeah, and how many resets can you have? How many times can you restart the engine of government without kind of, you know, looking at each other at Number 10 and going, I think the engine's done for it. I think the engine's broke. And it does feel a little bit like that. The polling pressure from Reform is so, you know, it absolutely incessant, that pressure.
Well, let's crank up the pressure a bit on this Monday morning. We start this day and a new week with saying, come on, seriously, government, is this the best you've got to offer? Is this going to solve the migrant crisis? And, you know, here we are in the summer. The good weather means that people use the boats, and it's easier to come here to Britain, except we've got Storm Flores.
We do.
Which may affect it a bit this
May
week.
not be many crossings today.
Yeah.
Because we are bracing for Storm Flores to unleash its fury today as the Met Office warns people to keep their doors shut.
That's expected to bring unusually windy weather. Gusts are predicted to reach 85 miles per hour. A danger to life warning has been issued. And we talked to now weather analyst Steph Galter for her analysis on all of this. So, Steph, where will it hit? How bad will it be?
It's already with us, Eamonn. Yeah, for many parts in the north, from North Wales, Northern England, Scotland, many parts of Ireland and Northern Ireland, already raining there. So they've already seen the first of the storms. The winds, though, those are the primary concerns from this system, and the winds are picking up. We've already seen a gust of 53 miles an hour in the far west of Ireland, and a sustained wind of 41. So that's pretty strong as well. And that's going to increase as it gradually works its way eastwards, because as it runs across Scotland, this system's going to really deepen quite quickly, and that's when we're going to see the strongest of the winds. So over Scotland, probably sort of north of the central belt, which is the most populated bit, obviously, but north of that is where we'll see the winds. They could gust as high as 90 miles an hour for the Western Isles.
And how long is this set to last, Steph?
Well, fortunately, because it's quite a big beast, it's moving through pretty quickly. So by tomorrow, the winds will be easing and then everything gets back to normal, just with some rather sharp showers. But at the moment, today is the big day. That's when we're going to see the worst of it. And of course, today is a long weekend for the Republic of Ireland and for Scotland. So more people are out. There's more outdoor events going on. And so Flores has kind of hit quite a bad time for it to come and visit.
Also, Steph, I think it's fair to say, I don't know, I can't see where actually you're broadcasting from today, but is it fair enough to say that it's very calm where you are and that most of us won't be touched by this?
If you're in the southern half of the country, it'll just be quite a blustery day. We're expecting winds about sort of 30, 40 miles an hour, maybe around some of the exposed coasts, a little bit higher, but that's essentially what we're expecting in the southern half. Further north, that's where you're going to see the strong winds. So North Wales, Northern England and northwards is where the winds are going to be quite a feature of today's weather. And of course, over Scotland is where we've got that amber warning. That's where we're going to see the worst of the winds.
Steph, thanks very much indeed for putting us in the picture. We might speak to you again later in the programme as it develops, and maybe it'll sort of worsen at around 9 o'clock or so. So we'll see what the picture looks like then. Thank you very much indeed for the moment.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. And if you're in Scotland, it might be worth checking before you travel this morning, because I think there's lots of ferries and buses and trains cancelled this morning.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
watch out for that.
Take rain and whatever, but wind is awful, particularly when it comes to flying or boats and that sort of thing, and driving on motorways, all that sort of thing. Let's have a look at some of the other stories coming into the newsroom on this Monday morning.
And one person has been arrested during a protest outside a migrant hotel in Canary Wharf. Over 100 people gathered to oppose the use of hotel for asylum seekers. Well, the crowd was later joined by masked men who set off smoke bombs and tried to break through the hotel fence.
Thousands of drivers could get payouts after being missold car finance as part of a compensation scheme that could cost banks up to £18 billion. So this has developed over the weekend. Motorists have been warned that payouts are expected to be less than £950.
Oasis say they are shocked and saddened by the death of a fan during their concert at Wembley Stadium. A man in his 40s is believed to have plunged from the upper tier during the gig, dying at the scene. Police are asking for anyone who may have witnessed the incident or caught it on camera to call 101. Now let's get a check on the weather with Ellie.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds across the northern half of the country, with an amber weather warning in force later this morning. It's across northern areas that those winds will continue to intensify through the rest of Monday morning. We could see gusts across western Scotland, the north coast of Aberdeenshire, of around 80, 85, potentially even 90 miles an hour. And even across much of northern England and Northern Ireland, we'll see some very strong wind gusts too. Temperatures on Monday will be pretty similar to what we saw on Sunday, but with those strong winds, particularly across the north, it will be feeling quite a bit fresher for all of us. Those strong winds continue as we head through Monday evening, as well as some heavy rain too. We've seen quite a bit of heavy rain around this morning, and we'll continue to see longer spells of rain across the northern half of Scotland, with heavy blustery showers feeding in from the northwest as well, perhaps even the odd rumble of thunder mixed in across Scotland this afternoon and evening. Across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, those showers perhaps a little more scattered, and the weather front that we've seen sinking its way south and eastwards continues to push offshore, so turning drier for much of England and Wales as we go through Monday night and into the early hours of Tuesday morning. The winds will gradually start to ease into the start of Tuesday morning, but it will still be really quite windy across much of Scotland and even into parts of Northern Ireland too. Brisk northwesterly winds will mean it still is a little bit fresher into the start of Tuesday, although towns and cities will generally be holding up into the double figures for most of us. A brighter start across the south though, plenty of prolonged sunshine, the best of any prolonged sunshine likely across England and Wales through Tuesday afternoon. But across Northern Ireland, Northern England and much of Scotland, we'll continue to see those heavy blustery showers feeding in on that very brisk northwesterly wind. Temperatures will be close to average for most of us on Tuesday, so in the north around 18 or 19 degrees, in the south 22 or 23 degrees.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
They reckon that storks, storks
they
long
bring babies,
legs,
yeah.
They bring babies.
Yeah.
White storks could return to London.
That'd be nice.
In the last 40 years, there were just 27 recorded sightings of white storks across Greater London. But between 2016 and 2023, there have been 472 sightings.
They're on the up.
Has that got to do with climate change, I wonder?
Or maybe more fish.
Stork. Have you ever seen a stork in real life?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my neighbours had a pond, and the stork used to always come down and probably eat the fish out the pond.
And they would, yes.
So it was good to see.
And they would nest at the top of like a pole or something.
Yeah.
I used to see them in Portugal quite a lot.
They're amazing to see. They're majestic, aren't they?
There you are.
They're big. Anyway, they're back.
They're
So
back, as is Paul Coyte.
Yes.
He's back, and he is the effervescent Paul Coyte, and you'll be seeing him bubbling away with all the sports news right after this to go away.
This is our country, and we think it's amazing. From high tea to the high street, we love it all. Even the rain. We like that too. There's nowhere else we'd rather be. That's why we're here to be the fearless champion of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we are GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, so week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No, because the failure is you're deliberately avoiding my point.
Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Here at the crease this morning, Mr. Paul, quite lovely to see you there.
Lovely to see you.
Ready for a very good innings, I would say, as we build up to this big test game this morning.
It is. Well, it's day 5, and it's the 5th test, England versus India. Now, the whole thing, it's been a lot of argy-bargy. There's been a lot of argument, all that sort of stuff. A lot of arguments between them, but it really has been an incredible series of, and also the cricket's been great. But this all goes down to the wire this morning. So the way we're looking now is that England need 35 runs and they have 4 wickets left. Now, England are 2-1 up in the series against India. If India win and take those 4 wickets, which could have happened last night, but then the rain came in which was lucky, then that means India will level the series. But if England win, it's not going to be a draw. It'll either be one thing or the other. It will happen this morning. So England 339 for 6. Harry Brook and Joe Root, both there. That's number 1 and number 2 batsmen in the world. They both got hundreds. Now, something that happened that may interest you is Mohammad Siraj, who has been amazing, and he's another one that's been given a lot of lip to batsmen, but he's a great bowler. So anyway, the ball comes over, and he's about to catch it. Now, Harry Brook is on 19 at the time, goes on to get 100. And what he does is that the ball comes over, he catches it, but as he catches it, he steps backwards over the rope, over the boundary, which means that the catch doesn't count, and it means that Brook gets a 6. Do you see what I mean? Because he actually took it back over with him. So that was one of the things that happened. Now, the other thing is that Chris Wokes, who is one of our great fast bowlers, dislocated his shoulder on the first day, on Thursday, so plays no part now in the extra game. So they only bat with 10 batsmen. But there's a chance that England may need him, because if wickets go early, this is a man with a dislocated shoulder. He's got his arm in a sling. Yesterday he was in his whites, so there is a chance that he may have to come out and bat to some of the...
cruel.
I know, can you imagine? So anyway, Joe Root was asked about this yesterday, whether it is a possibility that Chris Wokes, I mean, he's an injured man, to actually send him out and bat. This is what he had to say.
Probably saw in his whites in the dressing room, so, you know, he's all in like the rest of us. It's been that kind of series where you guys have had to put bodies on the line, and you know, hopefully it doesn't get to that. But you know, he had some throwdowns in here, I think, at one point, and he's ready if needed.
Ready if needed. It may actually happen. One arm, can you imagine?
No,
Look, really.
That would hurt. That would hurt.
It would,
but it wouldn't hurt if he did the job. Do you know what amazes me about cricket? I as a kid, you know, and you would maybe be off school or sick, inverted commas, off school, that sort of thing. But I used to look at the cricket on BBC during the day and see the filled arenas like the Oval will be today, and actually think, who can take a Monday off work to watch cricket
during the day?
Working class people can't do it. So it's a middle class pursuit. I would have thought.
I know what you're saying, and then you get the members of the MCC that will sit there all very posh and rich, etc. Generally, let's be honest. But then everybody. But I know what you're saying, because it's during the day. I don't know. You maybe because you've got to get your tickets so early because these things sell out. You can't just usually turn up. So maybe you take a day off, especially. But there's a lot of people there.
Always amazed me. Yeah.
Wimbledon's the same, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's so true.
But again, middle class.
Yeah.
Yeah, different way, different work structure. I mean, if you work in a factory or a car showroom or whatever, it's very difficult to, say, I'm not coming in because I'm going to Wimbledon or I'm going to the cricket.
There is the old, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today. No, I'm not a cricket fan myself.
Could be a bit of that. Now, tell me about this Egyptian wrestler. This is amazing. Right. This guy is called Kabonga. What's good about Kabonga?
Ashraf Mahrous. His nickname is Ashraf Kabonga. He is you remember the world's strongest man? I think they still do that on TV. It used to be really...
It used to be great to watch.
My mate used to present it, yeah.
And I love the world's strongest man. Well, apparently this guy is the world's strongest man. I don't know how you... But
it sounds it.
You pull trucks and
you
tires.
pull all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
He holds the record. I mean, one of the things he's got the record for the heaviest train pulled by teeth.
Did the teeth stay in?
Yeah, and they're his own.
That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
So it's all in the teeth. So I don't know whether that means strong teeth or strong body.
I was... I got a packet of wine gums on Friday.
Right. Well, I'm trying to see where the world's strongest man comes into this.
It was just very pleasant. I literally put them in my mouth and thought, 2 teeth came out.
No.
2 teeth. I think it's an age thing.
Oh, you've got to be so careful.
I'm so old. It's severe.
Where were they? At the front, at the back?
You've got to be careful.
Here.
Was it painful?
No.
It just came straight out.
Came straight out. It was a little bridge.
Was there a bit of
and the thing is,
wine gum on
this side, I've 2 out, which I'm waiting to have replaced on Wednesday.
Right.
So I'm toothless.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, I've heard that.
Do you think I'm passing quite well? It's just...
Anyway, I've got to go back to the world's strongest fella.
Oh, yeah.
Have a look at this.
His teeth are still in.
His teeth, he didn't use his teeth for this one.
them.
The director's telling it.
No teeth involved in this. So Ashraf Kabonga, he pulled 20 cars. This is in Egypt. Now, it looks like it's a traffic jam, but they're not. They're just all lined up together. He's in the front there. Did we get out there? There he is.
Wait a minute. Are you saying this is with his mouth?
No, that's not with his mouth.
His
that was another record. That was the only does the trains with his mouth. So there's 20 cars. Look at those old cars. So 20 of them pulled along 10 metres.
That is crazy.
I don't know whether it's downhill, uphill, generally flat. Look, he's got no problem with that. They're just rolling along.
He doesn't even look like a particularly big guy.
He doesn't, does he?
No. That's crazy.
I wouldn't like to argue with him anyway.
No.
Paul, thank you very much indeed. You'll be back. Maybe you'll have done it by the time you're back in 45 minutes' time. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Quitty.
The competition, mortgage-free, rent-free for a year and a bonus of £5,000 in your bank. It's the latest Great British Giveaway.
And guess what?
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year in the latest Great British Giveaway. That's right, we'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 in cash instead. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now at 6:33, it's time now for our daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hello, my name is Joel Knight and I'm a vicar in the Church of England. In contentment, I still feel the need for some imperishable bliss. So wrote American poet Wallace Stevens. What satisfies us? A cold drink at the end of a long day, a good book in an old armchair, family occasions with the children or grandchildren, career or financial success. Good things, good gifts. And yet, even in contentment, I still feel the need for some imperishable bliss. The human heart is hungry. What we think will fill us up doesn't. Or it does, but contentment fades. Or it does, but it still leaves us wanting more. What's worse than failing to reach what you think will satisfy? Successfully reaching, but finding nothing there. In his song Erasure, Ed Sheeran sings, "I used to think that nothing could be better than touring the world with my songs. I chased the picture-perfect life. I think they painted it wrong." On one occasion in the Bible, Jesus' friends ask him where anyone is going to find the food to satisfy the multitude who'd come to listen to him. Jesus' answer, "I can." Jesus claimed we feel the need for imperishable bliss because we're made for the giver, not just the gifts. He counsels us to follow the gifts back to the giver, the sunbeam back to the sun.
And it is bank holiday in Scotland, so maybe traffic may be a bit relaxed there. Where is it? What's it like there and everywhere else? Let's find out.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M9 northbound is experiencing restrictions at Junction 10 due to essential overnight roadworks, with slips closed. Motorists are encouraged to use available diversion and anticipate additional travel time. Roadworks have led to closure of the A470 southbound in Merthyr Tydfil, with diversions in effect. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast services are highly affected by Storm Flores, urging travellers not to head north of Preston. Similarly, Elna services advise against travelling north of Newcastle today. Please remember to plan your routes accordingly. Stay safe and stay informed. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Just to let you know, these two, Claire Muldoon, Christopher Biggins, what are they here for, Ellie?
It's a treat. They're going to be going through the papers with us, warning you two. But first, if you want to know where the sun is shining across Europe, here's the forecast.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. We're going through the papers with broadcaster and journalist Claire Muldoon and the actor Christopher Biggins. Morning, you two.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Claire, let's look at this extra £100 million, shall we, to smash the gangs.
Well, you know, that was Labour's pledge, wasn't it? They seem to make up their minds when they want what was in their manifesto and what there wasn't in their manifesto, and then take lead and act on it. So this is one thing that they said they would act from Yvette Cooper when she said she would smash the gangs. But unfortunately, it's not working. They're up 50%, the number of young males that's coming into this country on boats from France. 50% in 1 year. That's catastrophic in my view. And it actually leads us open to a very, very, very really bad sense of what's going on. I think the whole world is completely imploding. £100 million, that's our taxpayers' money that's being spent on this. And there's an increase as well in security, that risk of security of allowing these young men into the country. And I was reading during the weekend, actually, that Albania is suffering. Albanian women and children are suffering because a lot of these men are Albanian or from Albania, and they are leaving their families. They're not sending the money back because they've not got any jobs, even although there's the black economy working here. And it's just awful. It's awful for everybody. Just stop them, please.
Yeah, do you know what I find awful, Christopher? The repetition of the catchphrase, stop the gangs.
Yeah.
Stop the boats, smash the gangs, whatever it is. I think, what do you take me for? You know, you're not doing it, it's not working, and it's not going to work, and £100 million ain't going to make any difference
at all
whatsoever.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I couldn't agree more with you what you said. It's they've got to stop it.
Well, you see, the thing is, it's like being in a car and heading for a brick wall. They're heading for a brick wall, which will be a general election in 4 years' time or so, and they have no chance of winning it because they have no chance of stopping these gangs or these boats.
No.
Well, I don't think that's going to be top of the agenda, actually.
What do you think would be?
I think there's going to be so much more. The tax hike that's going to have to come in this next budget. And
why would there be a tax hike? Because there's all these migrants coming into the country as well.
But then, yeah, to pay for them.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. But I think there'll be there will not be a Labour government. It'll be a Labour coalition.
But also the way they're treating the elderly. I mean, I can't believe that. And also the way they're treating their Labour voters. I mean, it's disgraceful.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you've got a socialist party not implementing socialist policies. That's the biggest betrayal to me.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
They'll only win if Keir Starmer's not there, I think.
Yeah.
And
right, so the alternative could be
Angela Rayner, who is a very socialist.
They could dabble with him in the next year or 2 years, him and Rachel Reeves out the door and restructure.
Yeah. And then the other story, the big story of the weekend, was Morgan McSweeney, who's the director of comms for Number 10. His father has made millions for renting hotels to the immigrants. Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh
dear.
What can we say? Well, we're not going to say anything. You're going to have your say on this. Get in touch with us. You know what to do. And log whatever you want to say.
Yeah, plenty more to come your way. Do stay with us. But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine? Won't we need some cover?
No worries, all sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
It's a bit of a mixed picture across much of Europe over the next couple of days, with thunderstorms across parts of the Balkans, but across parts of Spain and Portugal, we're going to see that heat building over the next couple of days. Maximum temperatures could be reaching up to around 40 degrees and minimum temperatures not dropping much below 20 degrees overnight too. Those thunderstorms will continue across parts of Greece and the Balkans over the next couple of days, but it should be turning a little bit drier towards the end of the week. But that heat does continue to rise by the end of the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Dale, so what's all this about? You're involved in this scheme. The idea is that people who've got depression need to get out and about, and football's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up really rather well there. Football is a place for communities. It's a place where you feel a part of something. I know this from my experience of football. I've been running Forest Green for about 15 years now. And chatting to our local GP, who happens to be also our MP, but we just had the idea, why don't we offer football on prescription? Because it'd be a lovely thing to do. Football is a great place to come and meet other people and be a part of something. And it could really help people that are feeling isolated and lonely and you know, other aspects of mental health. So I'm really happy to be taking part in this, and if it works here in Stroud, then we're hoping we'll roll it out nationally, and maybe even the NHS will embrace it as a national programme. That would be great.
This is football clubs that have signed up to voluntarily offer seats to be a part of this programme.
Yeah, and right now it's one football club, Forest Green Rovers, but I hope that football clubs up and down the country and up and down the leagues of football as well, because it doesn't have to be a Premier Championship club. You know, there are lots of great leagues in our country and local clubs for people to go and take part with. So yeah, it's not being paid for by the NHS. It's being paid for currently by Forest Green Rovers.
You're a businessman, though. Surely you must see some, some dollar signs on this one. Sell the tickets to the NHS.
Well, I'm British, so I don't look at dollar signs. But look, I'm primarily an environmentalist, and what I care about is making our country a better place. I spend most of my time pursuing the green economy, but I believe in tax justice, social justice, that kind of stuff. Mental health is a crisis in our country, particularly for men. It's the biggest cause of suicide for the under 50s. Men are affected 3 times more than women. Men don't tend to talk to each other. They don't talk about their problems. And so this is not about money.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
We've got Christopher Biggins, we've got Claire Muldoon, and they've got the papers in front of them today. And a great weekend of socialising and sporting events and concerts and various things. And Chris, you want to talk about Saturday night at Wembley, where tragedy occurred.
I know it's the Oasis, their tour of which everyone's been talking about for years, suddenly is here and everyone going, enjoying it. And a man last night, I think he was in his 40s, attended and fell to his death. And someone said it was like, first of all, they thought it was someone's coat that was falling. And then suddenly the body hit the ground. But, I mean, it's very interesting because Wembley Stadium is huge, as we know. And you go to these high up, and it's like this. It's so steep.
Yeah.
And it happens in theatres as well. I remember going to a theatre and having to sit in the upper circle because that was the only tickets we could get.
You get dizzy when you get there, don't you?
You get dizzy and you get a nosebleed practically because it's so high.
It's a vertical drop, isn't it?
And you have to hang on to things and people to get to your seat. I mean, it's really terrifying. But this is tragic. I mean, the concerts can be going so well and everyone's enjoying it. But a young man in his 40s to fall and to his death is just appalling.
Oh, gosh.
No, it really is. But you think of the number, the sheer volume of people that go through Wembley, not only to see sporting activities, but concerts, pop concerts or any other form of concert. And for this to happen in this day and age, it's really quite remarkable, given all the health and safety that we have and, given the fact that it's not as vertiginous as some stalls or some upper circles in theatres where we don't really hear about it.
No.
But for this to happen on a Saturday night, watching Oasis, I think is absolutely tragic
So shocking,
for all involved.
I agree. I mean, you can't believe it, really. I mean, it's terrifying.
I mean, there's going to be an investigation.
I would rather not pay for a ticket and be able to see things at a proper level than certain football grounds, for instance, that you just are looking straight down, and I wouldn't be me. No. I'd rather...
Well, it's like Wimbledon. Wimbledon is an extraordinary... I mean, you are quite close at Wimbledon, but in fact, the best way to watch Wimbledon is from your television.
I was just about to say that. It's not about getting, involved with the atmosphere and the ambience or everything else. I think for me, it's actually watching what's going on and listening to it. And the best place for that is your home.
It is. And I love hiding behind my sofa when things get really tough and people that you want to win are losing. I mean, it is, and you're shouting at the television. It's a wonderful experience.
That was me for the final, where I wanted Alcaraz to win. I was like, come on!
And me too, and me. We should have joined forces.
We should have. What a great sofa that would have been.
Southwestern Railways has said that the driest conditions for around 200 years have forced it to halve the amount of trains that it runs from London to Exeter from August the 11th.
Well, it's interesting. I'm off to Edinburgh today on the train. And I love trains, so they're fantastic. But I mean, this is extraordinary. And they're blaming the dry weather for cancelling, because what's happening is that it's affecting the lines. They're actually falling away. And it's disgraceful that this is happening. I mean, it's that trip down to Dorset and is brilliant.
Well,
Devon.
it's beautiful,
is
isn't it?
wonderful. And now it's a disaster.
Well, when are the conditions ever right for the trains? Because if there's leaves on the track, the trains aren't running.
I know.
If it's wet, if it's windy, it's not running. And now if it's dry, then it affects the soil and the trains can't run there.
I know. There's always a problem.
Why can't we just maintain them? We're supposed to be having this drive to net zero for 2050. Reduce your carbon footprint, they say. Do whatever you can, they say. It's cheaper to fly. You would have been cheaper to fly up to Edinburgh, Christopher, than anything. I've known it myself. It was cheaper for me to fly to Newcastle than it was to get the train. It is repugnant and it's awful.
The trouble is, though, I agree with you to a certain extent, but, there's not... Once you've got to get to the airport, you've got then
I know. It's
queues,
much... Yes.
And, it's not a good experience, airports, I don't think.
No. Sometimes,
I totally agree.
but, hopping on trains is much easier when they run.
Yeah, when they run, exactly.
Claire.
So think of me later on today, 1 o'clock.
We will. We'll have our fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, please do.
Claire, let's have a look at the time, shall we? Not tonight, darling. You're fubbing.
Yeah. Don't we just love the hybridation of words these days? What do we think fubbing is a hybrid of? Phone.
Rubbing and...
No, calm down. Phone and snubbing. So actually, it makes sense. So if you've got a partner and they're more interested in being on their phone than not, or engaging in eye contact, having conversation with your darling, everything else, they're fubbing you. They're absolutely fubbing you. And we've seen a decline. But do we really need a report to think that? I mean, it's completely and utterly rude if one's sitting next to one's partner on that sofa, Christopher. What a sofa this is turning out to be. And your partner's just sitting there like that, whatever.
It's sad when you look over at couples in a restaurant and both of them are on their phones.
I was going to say restaurants. That is, you go to a restaurant, you see a couple across from each other on a romantic evening out, both on their mobiles.
Yeah.
I think they should be banned. Exactly.
Yes.
Waste of money.
Banned from the table, as it was when the kids were growing up. No phones on the table.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you make of Flores as a name?
Flores?
Mm-hmm. It's
nice,
the name of the
isn't
storm.
it? No.
Flores.
Not a real name.
Never heard of it either.
Not a real
name. It is. And do you know
Really?
it's male or female?
Oh, for
Female,
God's
I
sake,
don't-
of course
Oh, is
it
it?
is. Flori. Is that the plural?
It's a male name.
It's a man's
male
name, a manly name.
It's the name of the
Manly.
storm that's probably going to hit you in Scotland and Northern Ireland as we speak. But here's the weather update, Ellie, with that.
Flores.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds across the northern half of the country, with an amber weather warning in force later this morning. It's across northern areas that those winds will continue to intensify through the rest of Monday morning. We could see gusts across western Scotland, the north coast of Aberdeenshire, of around 80, 85, potentially even 90 miles an hour. And even across much of northern England and Northern Ireland, we'll see some very strong wind gusts too. Temperatures on Monday will be pretty similar to what we saw on Sunday, but with those strong winds, particularly across the north, it will be feeling quite a bit fresher for all of us. Those strong winds continue as we head through Monday evening, as well as some heavy rain too. We've seen quite a bit of heavy rain around this morning, and we'll continue to see longer spells of rain across the northern half of Scotland, with heavy blustery showers feeding in from the northwest as well, perhaps even the odd rumble of thunder mixed in across Scotland this afternoon and evening. Across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, those showers perhaps a little more scattered, and the weather front that we've seen sinking its way south and eastwards continues to push offshore, so turning drier for much of England and Wales as we go through Monday night and into the early hours of Tuesday morning. The winds will gradually start to ease into the start of Tuesday morning, but it will still be really quite windy across much of Scotland and even into parts of Northern Ireland too. Brisk northwesterly winds will mean it still is a little bit fresher into the start of Tuesday, although towns and cities will generally be holding up into the double figures for most of us. A brighter start across the south, though. Plenty of prolonged sunshine, the best of any prolonged sunshine likely across England and Wales through Tuesday afternoon. But across Northern Ireland, Northern England and much of Scotland, we'll continue to see those heavy, blustery showers feeding in on that very brisk northwesterly wind. Temperatures will be close to average for most of us on Tuesday, so in the north around 18 or 19 degrees. In the south, 22 or 23 degrees.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed Home Battery Storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Currently, motorists on the M9 northbound will experience restrictions at Junction 10 due to essential overnight roadworks. The northbound slips at Junction 10 are closed, and drivers should follow diversion routes, allowing extra time for travel. In Merthyr Tydfil, the A470 southbound is closed for roadworks, with diversions in place. Meanwhile, on the trains, Avanti West Coast advises against travelling north of Preston due to Storm Flores disruptions. Similarly, Elna services face disruptions with travel north of Newcastle not recommended. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year. We'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News. At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. The Home Office launches a huge new drive to smash the gangs with a £100 million funding boost.
But have we heard it all before? 300 new National Crime Agency officers, high-tech surveillance will be deployed across UK borders.
Question is, have we heard something familiar?
To go after the criminal gangs, to smash the gang networks.
To smash the smuggling gangs.
Smash the gangs. To smash the gangs.
Smash the gangs, except they're not doing that. Record-breaking numbers of small boats have reached our shores every week this summer. The question on people's lips, can the government regain control of these borders? What do you think?
University asylum crackdown. Places of higher education could be barred from accepting foreign students if institutions don't tighten up their checks. It's all part of a wider push to fix the broken immigration system. Question is, will it work?
There you have it today. It's hit land in the UK. It's Storm Flores. Trains and ferries cancelled. Danger to life warnings issued. Gusts reaching up to 85 miles per hour. Let us have your pictures.
Thousands of drivers who bought cars on finance before 2021 could be in line for a payout after a ruling on Friday, with the financial watchdog looking at a compensation scheme that could cost the industry billions.
American sanctions are looming for Russia. They're coming closer as Donald Trump's Ukraine peace deadline draws to a close. Putin is defiant, and relations between the American and Russian leaders is at breaking point, we understand.
Melania in the Situation Room, while the First Lady is touted as the woman behind President Trump's foreign policy. We're asking this morning, should spouses stay out of politics?
And in sport this morning, England need 35 runs to seal a 3-1 win at the Oval this morning, while India need 4 wickets to draw the series and could be bowling to a one-armed man.
Oh dear.
Lando Norris won the Hungarian Grand Prix as Lewis Hamilton called himself absolutely useless, which is not bad for 60 million quid a year. And the British Lion, who can finally meet his daughter, who was born during the first test against Australia.
Oh.
Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds for many of us on Monday, with an amber weather warning in force this morning. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
2 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock on this Monday morning. Thank you for your company. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Just to say to everyone watching and listening, here we are. The band is back together again.
Right.
It's been about a month since we've all seen each other face to face.
Yeah.
You were in the Maldives.
Yeah.
You were off on a European tour.
What's emotional? What do you say? It's been emotional.
It has.
It's emotional being back.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, though, I do want to say something, and that is when I was on holiday.
You missed us.
And I hadn't mentioned that, is that I lost my dog.
You did.
Dudley.
No, he doesn't mean he lost his dog. He means his dog died. That's what he means. That's really, really sad.
Well, yeah, of course, I didn't mean I lost my dog in the woods or anything.
But just in case
you were
people...
both... And I appreciate you both.
But mate, it's really
to be
hard.
Away when it happened.
And people don't understand. It's like losing a person. It's like losing a member of the family.
It really was.
Yeah.
It's been awful. Yeah.
I sometimes think it's worse than losing a family member because you know what I was saying to you? I think when you lose a dog, they're so innocent and they've never done anything wrong to you in their lives.
No, never.
So I feel like with humans, you sometimes have a bit more of a complicated relationship. You're like, oh, they did do that to me that time, and they were a bit annoying that time. But with dogs, you'd never feel that way because they're just great.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were away, and my mum had Dudley and everything, and so I mean, you can't really ask more of anybody, can you, to go through all that? So I really appreciated that. But thank you. But things are easier now. You know, 3 weeks on.
Yeah, and he didn't suffer.
No.
And he had the best life with you.
He did indeed.
Gone but not forgotten, Dudley.
Lucky Dudley. Oh, I've got a story for all three of you. Now, don't cheat, don't peek. Who do you think is more polite, men or women?
Who are more polite?
Yeah, who are more polite?
Ooh.
Generally.
Well, it depends. I mean, I have that old sort of American cowboy approach where you... That's true, I do.
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, ma'am. Is it that to
say? You know...
you are a bit, actually.
I kind of see it, yeah.
You say miss,
that
don't you?
sort of
miss.
cultured, sort of mid-American type politeness that they have in that cowboy way, you know?
Yeah. Well, the Daily Mail has reported this morning that most people would
What do you think?
I would say women are more like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say generally I think women are more
polite.
More polite?
Probably.
But no, apparently I'm wrong. It's men. Men who are more polite. And do you know why?
What's the
Because you use nice words like mate. And that makes people feel...
I use sir a lot.
Like
I say sir a lot.
I like sir. I think that's the nice thing to say.
I use pilgrim a lot.
I've never...
It's a John Wayne thing.
Good to see you back.
John Wayne, that's who he loves. And you use mate a lot off
well,
Red Drop.
I do use mate a lot, and actually, very embarrassingly, I got told off. I met my girlfriend's dad not too long ago, and I called him mate, and he
not
didn't like
sir.
it.
Oh,
he didn't like it. It was too early.
If it was someone meets my dad said hello, mate, I'd be all.
So if you're watching, apologies,
yes.
sir.
It's sir to you.
You know what I hate? You know what I really hate?
What?
Fella. I hate that when someone goes, all right, fella.
Well, you live in the wrong
For
county
some reason, fella, I know.
It rubs you the wrong way.
Oh, fella. All right, fella.
I think mate's
I'll
very
take
warm.
Fella, I don't
warm.
like.
All right, mate. Yeah, it's warm. It's nice.
Yeah, but you need to be respectful with your
No,
father.
what I don't like is that your children's boyfriends or girlfriends call you by your first name.
Ooh.
I don't like that.
So you like to be Mr. Holmes?
No, I tell them. Sorry, I say, sorry?
What did you call me?
Eamonn, I said, sorry?
I'm not your friend.
Mr. Holmes there. And that's what I...
It's your friendly TV persona is that people feel as if they know you, so maybe that's why.
But if they felt they knew me through TV, it would be pretty bad. If you saw some of the comments that come in. No, but I say when people date my daughter, I say, you know, I don't have 2 Alsatians, but if I did, they would be at the door outside protecting Rebecca. And I just want to tell you, when Rebecca's happy, Daddy's happy.
Oh, that's nice.
And if Rebecca's not happy, you're in trouble.
That's a good line.
That's a good line. Too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you come to me on my daughter's wedding day.
Very good. Right, OK.
Very good.
Let's get on. And we've got Oscar here in the studio, and this is... to do, I mean, Oscar's been in there, he's been a Conservative Party advisor, and we're talking now about the government putting forward 100 million quid in effort to smash people smuggling gangs, and then use all these phrases, smash the gangs, smash the gangs, smash the gangs.
Stop the boat.
Additional funding. We were saying earlier, Oscar, I personally, I don't know what you think, Ellie, but I think this is a waste of money, and it doesn't matter who's speaking. First of all, it's not enough money, and secondly, it decentivises the French.
Absolutely, and it's a black hole in a way because this crime agency clearly isn't being effective. We've reached 25,000 people crossing over already this calendar year. That's the fastest time in the calendar year that we've hit that mark. So things have got steadily worse. Things are falling off the edge of a cliff. And actually, you know, without addressing things like pull factors to this country, and actually just like the really uncomfortable... And Rwanda, you know, I was at number 10 at the time, and Rwanda was seen as incredibly uncomfortable as a policy. But it was out the box, and it would have acted as a deterrent that actually in this moment, right here, right now, we clearly need these organised crimes that are... I think that the moral argument here is that people endanger themselves, they risk their lives when they cross over, they're exploited by brutal criminals, and they would be, if they saw this announcement, they would be laughing at it. Laughing at it. It wasn't that long ago that I remember the government posted a video. They showed a clip of you know, we've arrested this, you know, criminal gang, this criminal mastermind, and it was, you know, they basically put some tape over, you know, one dinghy, and in terms of like the proportion of the scale of the problem and the response that we're currently showing as a country, it's laughable, and the motivation should be there because, you know, as your viewers will know, any government that can solve this issue is 90% of the way to winning the next election.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they won't be 90% of the way. But yet we saw Keir Starmer on all this loving, all this hugging his mate Macron during his state visit to the country. So what am I trying to say? What strength is there in those hugs and those kisses and those friendliness? Macron must be laughing all the way home again.
Well, it's about I mean, you know, the government, Starmer, that's how he likes to do his politics. It's kind of it's collaborative in a way. It's in the middle somewhere. It's he enjoys being on the world stage. He hopes that kind of collaborative work across Europe and with other EU nations will help with this. But ultimately, it clearly isn't. Countries, and it's fair enough, and it's nearly swore then, sorry. It's about time this country did the same, but they act in their own interests. Macron acts in the interests of the French people.
And it's not actually in his interest or the French people's interest to stop the boat, because it doesn't become their problem.
Exactly, Ellie. And it's about time that Keir Starmer recognises that for all the kind of backslapping and the hugs and kisses, that actually they don't care about the immigration problem in the UK, ultimately. They care about the immigration problem in France or Germany or wherever it may be.
We need to stop sending money to France then, don't we? I mean, how much we sent now? 700 million, 800 million?
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge amounts of money. And what are we getting back in return? I mean, we've got record-breaking numbers.
Record-breaking numbers. And really depressingly, there have been French parliamentarians who have you know, quite mockingly criticised the UK for being a real soft touch on this stuff. We had Starmer and Trump just last week, and Trump absolutely, in many ways, kind of schooling him on the issue of immigration. And we were just talking off air, Ellie, about a part of this is the social media policy. So
this is their new plan to tackle things. It's something like 80% of those that cross the channel manage to book their crossings through social media. So the government is now planning on criminalising the use of these social media adverts. But the problem with that, surely, is these people smuggling gangs operate in Europe. So you're not able to throw them in jail here in the United Kingdom.
I'm not quite sure how that would work. Although, in fairness, the government are quite good at policing social media as opposed to real on-the-ground crime. So maybe, actually, that in some ways they're playing to the strengths on this. But look,
it can't be enforced, can it, surely?
I do not understand how it would be enforced whatsoever. Look, it's really, really simple in many ways. I mean, the problem is not simple. Solving the problem is not simple. But as you look at your screens now and you see this, the hugging there and the handshakes, Starmer is clutching at straws. He's clinging to others for help and support. And he probably doesn't realise, and Number 10 need to realise here, that they are on their own. We are on our own as a nation here, and we need to act. We need to act now.
I just see Macron there basically saying, look here, this is what you're going to do. This is the way you're going to say it. Give me another hug there for the cameras, and let's move on. I do not see the point. The government used this stock phrase about smashing the gangs, smashing the boats, or whatever it is. I just want to ask people watching and listening: has that struck home with you? Is that making you think, oh yeah, we've got this problem solved. I'm just looking at some of the comments coming in. Joe says Starmer and his advisors aren't just out of step, they live on another planet. Sandra, having your say today, Sandra, so our beloved government is going to spend another £100 million of our money. Oh good, that should sort it, should it not? The thing is, of course, as well, Oscar, is this money, where's it coming from? We never have any money. We've no money for that. We've no money for that. But we've 100 billion, which we think between the three of us agree isn't enough anyway.
No, it's not enough. And these are existing, they're pouring money into existing structures. And I think a lot of the British people, they would like their politicians to have a bit of bravery, a bit of imagination, and actually on issues that are clearly difficult to solve, to actually think outside the box and do the difficult things that are required. And that's, you know, getting rid of things like the ECHR potentially, getting rid of that kind of lawyer kind of bubble that swallows these issues up and makes doing the difficult things incredibly hard. You know, you'll see Reform and the Conservatives talk about immediate deportation. You know, all these things that the British people are probably saying, please, we've tried this broken system time and time again. We've tried to juice it and there's nothing coming out. Can we try something radical and brave on this issue? And unless Number 10, you know, and Keir Starmer really, really heed that from the public, that message, that feeling that is out there, you know, that it's going to be as unpopular as ever.
This message was forecast 30, 40 years ago by Margaret Thatcher. She would go in, she would talk about all these things, she predicted all these things in quite moderate language, it has to be said. And I think if you revisit some of her speeches, you'll be quite impressed.
I mean, the Tory party have, in many ways, find her hard to shake because they haven't been able to find... They're always looking for their latest... You know, it's like Man United looking for the next George Best continuously. Yeah. In some ways, it's impossible to find. But honestly, like that tough leadership, that real, you know, iron kind of leadership, I think is what the public want on issues like this.
Oscar, got to leave it there. Thanks very much indeed for your contribution this morning. Have your say. Join us with your views on what we've been talking about so far today.
Now, we're going to stay on this topic at 7:15 because universities could soon be barred from accepting foreign students.
It's part of efforts to stop migrants using university courses. They use these as back doors to claim asylum.
Well, among penalties, institutions will be sanctioned if 95% of their foreign students fail to attend lectures.
To tell us all about this, former Immigration Minister Kevin Foster. Kevin, good morning to you. Here's another one we hadn't really thought about. How does this work, or how is this system abused or manipulated?
Well, good morning, Eamonn. The way student visas can be abused is fundamentally if someone's sponsored to come to the UK who isn't really to the standards of doing a degree or higher education, but is prepared to pay the fees concerned, and is doing that purely because they're looking to then stay on in the UK after they graduate. People might remember about 15 years ago, Theresa May was doing a lot of work around shutting down bogus language colleges because at that time, claiming you were coming to study English had become a way of coming here for migration. But this will be, by the look of it, quite targeted at universities. And to give people an impression of the scale, you're talking of about 400,000 visas having been issued up to March 2025. And the sort of organisations we're talking about are everything from Oxford, Cambridge, St Andrews, Warwick University, to more modern universities. And that's perhaps where some of the debate has come when you then see people claiming asylum. I think we saw 16,000 claim asylum in 2024 at the end of their courses, which in itself, that stat says people are starting to abuse this system.
Then, Kevin, do you think this could work? So universities would face sanctions if these students either don't start their course or don't end their course?
Well, there's already been this in place for a long period of time, although it's always going to be hard to actually take away a university's sponsorship licence for students. Because fundamentally, if you pulled most universities' sponsorship licence, you'd actually be closing the university down, given in recent years universities have expanded the number of international students take at full commercial rates. You know, this is not something they do for charity. You know, they will be charging quite significantly higher rates than the UK students. students pay to go to university. So it could, one, it will depend how determined the government is. Are they prepared to pull a university sponsor license? And two, like we could have with the discussion on small boats, how can you remove people who seek to game the asylum system rather than pay these sort of visa fees you'd expect to transfer into skilled worker if they've got a job at the end of their course?
Just briefly, we're talking about the students involved there who may be doing things wrongly. Any of the universities are culpable in this?
Well, I think there'd always be question marks if you've got a university that's got high numbers of people claiming asylum, or, for example, international students who are not going on into graduate level jobs. That would suggest they were people who perhaps bought a immigration status rather than an opportunity to learn. And at times you do have to ask questions if universities have larger numbers of students that are in that. Any university could have the odd person fall out, but if there's a pattern, then it's right that actions taken.
Kevin, appreciate your take on things as a former immigration minister. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Now, 18 minutes past 7, let's get a check on the weather with Ellie.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds across the northern half of the country, with an amber weather warning in force later this morning. It's across northern areas that those winds will continue to intensify through the rest of Monday morning. We could see gusts across western Scotland, the north coast of Aberdeenshire, of around 80, 85, potentially even 90 miles an hour. And even across much of northern England and Northern Ireland, we'll see some very strong wind gusts too. Temperatures on Monday will be pretty similar to what we saw on Sunday, but with those strong winds, particularly across the north, it will be feeling quite a bit fresher for all of us. Those strong winds continue as we head through Monday evening, as well as some heavy rain too. We've seen quite a bit of heavy rain around this morning, and we'll continue to see longer spells of rain across the northern half of Scotland, with heavy blustery showers feeding in from the northwest as well, perhaps even the odd rumble of thunder mixed in across Scotland this afternoon and evening. Across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, those showers perhaps a little more scattered, and the weather front that we've seen sinking its way south and eastwards continues to push offshore, so turning drier for much of England and Wales as we go through Monday night and into the early hours of Tuesday morning. The winds will gradually start to ease into the start of Tuesday morning, but it will still be really quite windy across much of Scotland and even into parts of Northern Ireland too. Brisk northwesterly winds will mean it still is a little bit fresher into the start of Tuesday, although towns and cities will generally be holding up into the double figures for most of us. A brighter start across the south, though. Plenty of prolonged sunshine, the best of any prolonged sunshine likely across England and Wales through Tuesday afternoon. But across Northern Ireland, Northern England and much of Scotland, we'll continue to see those heavy, blustery showers feeding in on that very brisk northwesterly wind. Temperatures will be close to average for most of us on Tuesday, so in the north around 18 or 19 degrees. In the south, 22 or 23 degrees.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Now, we've got a good competition for you. This one a bit different. It's a chance to live mortgage or rent-free for a year, and you get a bonus of
£5,000 in your bank account. Very nice. It's the latest Great British Giveaway. And guess what? Even if you haven't got a mortgage or rent to pay, you can still enter and win £15,000. So here are all of the details that you need.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year in the latest Great British Giveaway. That's right, we'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 in cash instead. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. cost. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Up next, the First Lady in the USA is touted as the woman behind President Trump's foreign policy. So,
We're asking this morning, should spouses stay out of politics? We're going to be debating that next.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Now, Donald Trump has said that while flying back from Scotland, the First Lady, Melania, shared images of starving children in Gaza while talking about the Middle East, and this was her major concern.
Yes, well, it's also being reported that Melania had direct influence on Donald Trump's decision to launch missile strikes on Syria.
So this morning we're asking, should politicians' partners stay out of politics historically? What has the situation been on this one? Mike Parry, Neil Hamilton, to talk about this. And good morning to both of you guys. Good seeing you. And Neil, from your point of view, I mean, when you held office at all in the Conservative government, was Christine on standby, ready to advise?
Well, not in the ministerial positions that I held. I was a corporate affairs minister and so on. I don't think she would have been much use to me in that capacity. But in terms of emotional intelligence as a politician, Christine's much better than I am. You know, she'd worked at the House of Commons for 12 years before I was elected. Then she became my chief of staff, and also when I was in the Welsh Parliament much later. You know, she has a great political instinct. I don't always agree with her, but you know, was my chief of staff in the office, just as she's still my chief of staff at home.
Ah, that's nice. Mike Parry, what do you think? Do you think spouses should stay out of politics, or do you think it's nice to have their influence and for them to get involved?
Well, I will obviously bow to Neil's greater knowledge, experienced politician, but frankly, when I put my ex on the voting ballot paper, I'm voting for that person. I'm not voting for that person's spouse. Now, probably the most useful spouse in the history of British politics was, of course, Dennis Thatcher, because Dennis Thatcher didn't get involved at all while Mrs. Thatcher turned us into the richest country in Europe. He just stayed on the golf course, had a few gin and tonics, and let her get on with it. But probably one of the most noticeable spouses of recent years is probably Carrie Johnson, because it's common knowledge that Carrie, who was a lot younger than Boris Johnson, Prime Minister here, of course, Carrie didn't get on with Dominic Cummings. Dominic Cummings was chief advisor who had really masterminded Boris Johnson's ascent to number 10. Then something went terribly wrong. All of a sudden, Cummings is out the door, government implodes, and that's an example of where spouses shouldn't stick their noses in. Now, I'm not saying you don't take advice from the person you live with. Obviously, there's going to be pillow talk, but it seems to me there was huge influence there. And I'm not picking on Carrie Johnson. Although she was younger, she did have experience in working in the Conservative Party. So I'm not saying for a moment she wasn't knowledgeable, but I think her interference was unnecessary. I voted for Boris as Prime Minister, and he's the guy who should have made it.
We're just talking, Mike, about, you know, people you know about or may have had a record on this. But, Neil, surely human nature being human nature, we can listen to anybody and everybody. We can listen to the local news agent if we want to, the milkman.
Yeah, you can. I totally agree. But you've got to be strong enough in your own head, in your own belief, with your own calibre and character to say no. Single-mindedness is what it's all about. Mrs. Thatcher, again, a great example of single-mindedness. Now, if you look at America, for instance, we're talking here about Melania, there is absolutely no doubt that Hillary Clinton was a massive influence on Bill Clinton. So much so that when they were in the election race, she used to say to people, if you vote for Bill Clinton, you don't get one, you get two. You get me as well. That's how much she liked herself. She was the first.
Let's hear from Neil. Neil, what would you say in response to all of that?
Well, I mean, I agree with Mike on the particular examples that he's quoted here. Carrie Johnson, I think, had a disastrous influence in policy terms over Boris Johnson. And he doubled down on all this net zero nonsense, for example, as a result of pressure from her, by all accounts. And also she had very firm views on sort of animal issues and various other things. And Hillary Clinton was a catastrophe for Bill Clinton at the end of the day, because the public didn't like her. And, you know, she was supposed to save the American health system, and that was a disastrous failure as well. So I think it's a case of horses and courses, really. But it's inevitable that spouses are going to be in the background and have some kind of influence. I don't know the extent to which Melania Trump has any influence on Donald. He seems to me to be pretty much immune from pressure from anybody. But unless you're pushing at an open door, shall we say, and it may be on those particular issues that we just heard on Air Force One, that he was susceptible to nudging from her. But I don't think that Melania gives orders to Donald. I think Bill Clinton did actually hand over effective decision making to Hillary on a lot of issues. And there, I agree with Mike. It's completely wrong if that's the kind of relationship that a politician has with his spouse, that he's a kind of marionette or puppet in her or his hands. In case of Dennis Thatcher, it's true that Margaret obviously had very decided views on everything, but nevertheless, he was a very, very strong support to her in moments of crisis.
Not publicly. not publicly.
Well, not
That's
publicly.
the point I'm making,
No,
Neil. That went on behind the scenes. That's fine. But you know, Dennis didn't come out and started giving his views on things. You made the point about net zero with Boris Johnson. Where did it come from? Talking nonsense at speeches about Kermit the Frog.
Thank you for you two giving us your views on this today. It's got people talking, and we'll reflect that throughout the programme as people have their say. Mike and Neil, appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, you too. I think it's probably quite hard for spouses because someone like Melania, she's been criticised now for showing Donald pictures of starving children in Gaza. But do you remember the first time? It was all like, where's Melania?
What
Where
was
is
she good to do?
I
why
haven't seen pictures of her in ages. Where is she?
Yeah.
So maybe it's hard.
I think it's human nature. I would take advice from anybody and everybody. You weigh up, what does he say, what does she say, what do they say, and then you make up your own mind. And make up your own mind about Paul Coites here with the sport next.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M9 northbound is restricted at junction 10 due to planned maintenance, with both slips closed. Detours are in place, urging travellers to plan extra time. Over in Merthyr Tydfil, the A470 southbound faces a full closure as roadworks continue. In South Gloucestershire, the M5 southbound endures delays due to an overturned vehicle between junction 16 and 17, with 2 of 3 lanes shut. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast urges travellers not to head north of Preston, while Elna advises against journeys north of Newcastle. Stay updated at gbnews.com. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show. It's not a bad brand. Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
A big cricket game going to come to conclusion at the Oval from about 11 o'clock this morning. And here's Paul to put you in the picture.
I'm going to take you both to cricket. Maybe it's a bit late now, but I think you will enjoy it.
What are the snacks available?
Yeah, of course.
And the drinks available?
It's all very nice.
Socially, if you get a right seat and things, it's very, very good, it has to be said, because you can have conversations and whatever between it. I don't really understand a lot about what goes on at cricket, but
I know.
I think it's a vicious sport.
Very briefly, England playing India. It's been an amazing series. England are 2-1 up against India, and it's the 5th game, and it's the 5th, and basically it ain't over yet. England need 35 runs, and they need to score those today, and there's 4 wickets left. So India need to bowl 4 players out, and England need to score 35 runs. Whoever does whatever they're supposed to do will win the match. Now, Chris Wokes is out, one of our fast bowlers, and dislocated his shoulder, falling over, trying to get a ball, stop a ball going for 4 on the first day. So dislocated his shoulder, seems to be out of the match, but they may need him to bat today.
I don't think that should
Why
be allowed.
not?
I think they need to not allow that.
Because there's no substitutes. No substitutes are allowed in cricket. So what do you do? He's going to take it for the team and go out, and they kind of expect it. So the last time I think it was it was Colin Cowdrey, Chris is the son, 1963, broke his arm, went out and batted to try and save it.
Well,
so
that's
this is
bravery.
what could happen. It could be crazy. It may not come to it. Let's hope it doesn't, but it is a possibility it will.
OK, the Hungarian Grand Prix yesterday. Another good day for Lando Norris.
Lando Norris, 9th Grand Prix, beat his teammate Oscar Piastri. So the battle between the two of them. Lewis Hamilton was 12th, said he was absolutely useless. That's what he said about himself.
Was he useless or was the car useless?
Well, there was stuff that was said on the radio where he wasn't happy about what was going on.
Yeah.
And he said there's stuff behind the scenes, which there always is. But let's face it, if the car ain't working for you, it's not going to make... He's not all of a sudden going to become a bad driver overnight.
OK.
60 million a year he's on, so they would expect maybe a little more, but if the car ain't... Don't blame your tools, I know, but in that case, the tools are quite important.
So, my friend, birthdays today.
Should we do those?
Right, so today is the 4th of August, isn't it?
4th of August. I've got one from yesterday, firstly. OK, let's see who this is. The great Osvaldo Ardiles, Aussie in the Cup for 13.
Oh, he played for Spurs?
Yeah. First foreign player to be signed after the Argentinian World Cup win of 1978.
And Ricky
Villa as well.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
Right, my friend, I think mid-70s, 75.
75 is good guess.
73.
Is the correct answer.
Is it?
Well done.
73.
Yes.
Well done.
Aussie Ardiles. Right, let's go with another one.
Very good.
Right, this is... Now, do you recognise him, Eamonn?
Yes, it's...
Ipswich, Liverpool, Scotland, John Walk.
John Walk.
John Walk.
Yeah.
So how old is John Walk
John
today?
Walk, hard man.
About the same...
I'd say about the same age as Aussie. Let's say 73.
73?
See, he looks younger.
Well, he does there, because that was many years...
when was that?
Like 4 years ago.
In 1982 or something.
The 80s, right. OK, I'll say 68. 69.
Which one are you going to go for? Because one of them is right.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is right.
Spooky. You're a witch.
68. I think I am a little bit.
She's right again.
No.
Well done. Well done.
They were both in Escape to Victory together.
The movie.
The movie Escape to Victory, which... Look, there's the team. Sylvester Stallone was in goal. You've got Michael Caine there, Pele, Ozzy, John Walk, and Bobby Moore played.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know who the guard is on the right or who the dog is on the right-hand side. That's the movie...
I wouldn't argue with them.
That's the movie where they were losing 4-1 at half-time. They could have escaped, but decided we've got to stay on and win the game. And then
escape.
And they managed to escape. Right, let's go with another one. I've got another one for you. Mary Decker, there she is now. Mary
Decker, yeah.
1984 Olympics with against Zola Budd, who's running there with no socks on. Do you remember? No shoes. There was the whole furore about
an amazing time in athletics.
Africa.
I'd say she's about 63, 64.
63 for Decker. She was tripped up. There they are, because there was the film The Fall, and they never spoke, and then they came together after all those years.
Oh.
So Mary Decker Slaney, how old is she today? So 84. She was the golden girl.
66.
He's only a year out, 67. You're unbelievably on form.
You are unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I've woken up full of beans.
One more for you, but this is not a birthday. But this day, 2012, was Super Saturday at the Olympics. So Jessica Rennis won gold, Greg Rutherford and Mo Farah. They all won gold, but within how many minutes of each other?
6.
Wow. How long between all three of them winning gold medals?
6 minutes.
You can't get one of two events going.
26 minutes.
26 minutes.
45.
It was 46.
Ooh.
I will give you that, my friend.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much indeed.
That was fun.
For your entertainment. Well, it was fun because you won.
Because you've got everything right today.
Yeah, that was great.
Apart from 2 minutes between all those three events.
Well, we'll have a bit more than 2 minutes with Claire Muldoon and Christopher Biggins, and they will have their thoughts on stories making the news in the papers. But first, here's the holiday sun.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
It's a bit of a mixed picture across much of Europe over the next couple of days, with thunderstorms across parts of the Balkans, but across parts of Spain and Portugal, we're going to see that heat building over the next couple of days. Maximum temperatures could be reaching up to around 40 degrees and minimum temperatures not dropping much below 20 degrees overnight too. Those thunderstorms will continue across parts of Greece and the Balkans over the next couple of days, but it should be turning a little bit drier towards the end of the week. But that heat does continue to rise by the end of the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Now, the National Memorial to Queen Elizabeth II will include a new bridge in St James's Park, designed by Norman Foster.
Yes, the translucent bridge will be inspired by the tiara the Queen wore on her wedding day.
But let's get more now from St James's Park with our royal correspondent, Cameron Walker. Cameron, what's the memorial going to be like?
Good afternoon, Tom and Emily. Yes, the wait is finally over. We have the final design from the renowned architect Lord Foster, who famously once criticised the King for his views on architecture. But of course, today it's all about honouring Queen Elizabeth II and her legacy. On that theme, at Marlborough Gate, which is the big gate you see behind me, which overlooks the Mall, that's going to be renamed Queen Elizabeth II Place. And there is, according to the artist impression, going to be a big statue of Queen Elizabeth II riding a horse overlooking the Mall. Of course, incredibly poignant because she had a deep love of all things equine. Incredibly poignant, of course, as well, significant of a love between Prince Philip and the late Queen. It's going to apparently, according to the architect, or hinted by the architect, light up at night as well, which is meant to symbolise all the diamonds that were part of that tiara. And the Queen famously also gave it to her granddaughter, loaned it to her granddaughter, Princess Beatrice, for her wedding in 2020. And then we come to the final part of St James's Park's Queen Elizabeth II's memorial, and that is going to be right here at the other end of the park, overlooking Birdcage Walk, going to be renamed Prince Philip Gate, because a new statue of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip is going to be erected at the other side of St James's Park. It's meant to be them, according to the artist's impressions, in their younger years.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
We've got Christopher Biggins and we've got Claire Muldoon, and they've got the papers in front of them. And we are going to talk. What were you saying? What were you saying tickled you there?
Oh, eating early. Claire, in the Times. Apparently people are enjoying a 6 p.m. dinner.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing is that restaurants are responding to that. Now, there's a myriad of reasons why people are opting to dine early. Of course, we always used to have the pre-theatre suppers, remember?
Yeah.
Which were great. But now, because more people, I think, are moving out of London, so they've got a commute the other side of it. And the other thing, I think, is the rise in slimming jabs, because a lot of people then need to eat earlier, so the acid doesn't build up in their tummy, so they, and it's much better for them.
It's better for their esophagus,
etc.
Yeah.
So the rise in the 6 p.m. dinner, and I think it's brilliant. I've had 2 in the past 2 weeks. The price is brilliant, the quality is great, the chefs are great because they've got midweek people coming into their restaurants, which in a time for us at the moment is really, really difficult. Really difficult for independent restaurants to survive, and it's great that people can now go out, experience an early supper.
Yeah,
I think
love
it's wonderful.
a 6 p.m. dinner.
But the only other thing about that is that then people aren't eating after late. So restaurants now are offering a good discount if you go late to a restaurant, because restaurants are closing about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
But the great thing about a 6 p.m. dinner is you can be in bed by 9.
It's true.
Which is great.
No, it is. It's really good.
Whereas
It's
if
a
you're
really
going out for dinner
positive thing.
at 10 p.m, you won't be home till 1.
No.
So leave your phones off the table.
Don't fub.
Don't fub. Yeah. And get eating out in lovely restaurants and start to enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
Enjoy what restaurants have to offer, and make the sacrifice, save up, go and do it. You will not be disappointed.
But Claire, what was that restaurant you went to where you had half a lobster, glass of wine?
Yeah.
And what was it? How much?
Salad and chips. It was 25 quid.
25 quid?
Right. It was the Shed in Notting Hill, which was wonderful. That was last week.
Yeah.
You're having a lovely time over there, Claire.
I know.
If you don't like lobster, you can have steak tartare.
I know.
Instead.
Very nice.
Super.
Well, hospitality needs the support at the moment
It
as well,
does.
doesn't it?
It does.
So it's a good idea.
Both of you, there is a lot of stories in the papers today about people's views, celebrities' views towards death and facing death. Davina McCall saying her attitude's totally changed after her tumour in her brain was discovered, and she's been seemingly cured with that as well. So she doesn't have the same fear towards death. And Christopher, a friend of ours, James Whale, who I've been to see, is nearing the end of his life, maybe this week.
I know. We went on Saturday to see him, and he's looks terrific, I have to say, and it was great.
It's his voice is the trouble.
The voice, which is the irony of being a journalist using his voice on the radio brilliantly over the years. Now his voice is going. And but what was so wonderful was the hospice that he's staying in, which I think needs something like £12 million a year to survive. It was just wonderful. The nurses were phenomenal. So he's being looked after royally, and I think that keeps him going, funny enough. And he has a wonderful room with a view of trees and wonderful squirrels coming in.
It's right for him at this time in his life. What's your view towards death?
I have no fear at all of death.
Really?
And I think I put it more than Davina's call of having something terrible happen to her. I put it down to the fact that I think it's inevitable, as we get older. I mean,
What you don't want is to suffer.
No, I was just going to say that. I mean, I don't care how I go, but I don't want to suffer. And in fact, if I suffer, then I want to go to Switzerland or somewhere where, I
Press
can...
the button.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because,
Claire?
I think this highlights the wonderfulness and the need for palliative care that James Whale is receiving, that a lot of people in hospices get. I've got my other heart op coming up, so I've got, again, no fear of death. I am ready. Spiritually. Obviously, I wouldn't want to, because I want to be there for my children and see them grow into the most amazing characters that they already are, and hopefully grandchildren. But at the end of the day, as sure as eggs are eggs, tax and death. That's the only sureties we have.
Faith helps as well.
Faith does help. It really does, knowing that it's not really... Well, for me, I believe it's not really the end.
No,
a stepping stone onto something
I
even
agree.
greater.
Something better.
Yeah.
I feel also, I think, I don't want to be around
in these terrible times where everything is just...
Has it ever been worse?
Absolutely. It just gets worse and worse and worse.
Now we hear the American nuclear submarines off the coast of Russia.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, that is... I mean, and we're so vulnerable as an island. I mean, you know, any of those countries that are fighting at the moment could just press a button and
well, we're
be gone.
even more vulnerable now because I doubt, and I'll tell you right now, not one of those guys coming over in the boats would be able to support or defend us either.
No.
Claire, let's have a look at the Mail, shall we?
Yep.
And why are British men polite?
Well, this is a funny one. Again, it's all about what they say and their vernacular and the way they talk to one another. It would seem that British men apparently are the most egregious, the most familiar and the most loving, only because they keep repeating the word mate. I hate it. I hate mate. I hate bro. That's
Men
even
love
worse.
it though, don't they?
Hello, mate. Hello, mate.
I couldn't agree more with you. I hate mate. Mate is horrible,
Or bro.
I think. Really.
I'm not your mate.
No.
Mate.
No.
I find it strange when men call women mate.
Exactly.
And it does happen. I feel very...
And they use it
manly.
so often. So often throughout the day. It's ridiculous.
Do you like being called mate?
Never really thought of it. Sometimes you can tell people who are sincere about what they call you and people who aren't. But it doesn't really... I'd be more a touchy-feely sort of person. I'm more likely to say
That's
how
the Irish
you keep
in you.
and
Yeah,
how
that's
you
nice.
doing. And you're right. Then people close to me say, "Don't do that.
Oh,
Don't
I think
do
it's
that. You
nice.
can't touch people."
Yeah, but people are afraid to do that
that's
now, aren't
so
they?
ridiculous, isn't
But
it?
I agree with you, Biggins. I think, you know, you're subjected to other people's rules. And, I mean, I'm quite familiar with people. I'm quite friendly with people. I mean, you and I would never think of how do I approach Biggins, how do I approach Eamonn,
No.
It's just natural.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I mean, years ago, I mean, I get so angry. I, as a gay man, could go up behind a woman and touch her whatsits.
Oh, dear
Do you know?
God.
Because it was
Where
fun.
are we going with this fun?
But
You're not going to now try and tell us that should be allowed now.
Well, I think it should be as an affection towards a woman. I mean,
Only because you're a gay man?
Yes. If I was
so
a
I
straight
couldn't
man.
do it.
What?
I couldn't do it.
No, as a straight man, I think you'd be locked up. Someone would...
Could you touch my breasts?
All the time. And other parts too.
They're certainly big enough.
This is an addition, by the way, for all of our viewers and listeners. This is an addition for a new reality show. Gay touch-up.
Oh,
Gay
dear.
touch-up.
Okay. Are we too serious? Are we too prudish about who we touch, how we touch them, how we say them, how we greet them, what we do, or is it just absolutely right the way it is? And the
What were you saying earlier about the salutation, about greeting you? Was it someone calling you Eamonn, or would you prefer to call Mr. Holmes, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes Mr. Holmes, especially for the children's
I'm a
part.
believer in hierarchy, but there we go. Here's Mrs. Weather.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds across the northern half of the country, with an amber weather warning in force later this morning. It's across northern areas that those winds will continue to intensify through the rest of Monday morning. We could see gusts across western Scotland, the north coast of Aberdeenshire, of around 80, 85, potentially even 90 miles an hour. And even across much of northern England and Northern Ireland, we'll see some very strong wind gusts too. Temperatures on Monday will be pretty similar to what we saw on Sunday, but with those strong winds, particularly across the north, it will be feeling quite a bit fresher for all of us. Those strong winds continue as we head through Monday evening, as well as some heavy rain too. We've seen quite a bit of heavy rain around this morning, and we'll continue to see longer spells of rain across the northern half of Scotland, with heavy blustery showers feeding in from the northwest as well, perhaps even the odd rumble of thunder mixed in across Scotland this afternoon and evening. Across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, those showers perhaps a little more scattered, and the weather front that we've seen sinking its way south and eastwards continues to push offshore, so turning drier for much of England and Wales as we go through Monday night and into the early hours of Tuesday morning. The winds will gradually start to ease into the start of Tuesday morning, but it will still be really quite windy across much of Scotland and even into parts of Northern Ireland too. Brisk northwesterly winds will mean it still is a little bit fresher into the start of Tuesday, although towns and cities will generally be holding up into the double figures for most of us. A brighter start across the south, though. Plenty of prolonged sunshine, the best of any prolonged sunshine likely across England and Wales through Tuesday afternoon. But across Northern Ireland, Northern England and much of Scotland, we'll continue to see those heavy, blustery showers feeding in on that very brisk northwesterly wind. Temperatures will be close to average for most of us on Tuesday, so in the north around 18 or 19 degrees. In the south, 22 or 23 degrees.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed Home Battery Storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M80 southbound at junction 6A is restricted due to a collision. In South Gloucestershire, an accident on the M5 southbound between junctions 16 and 17 closed 2 lanes. Expect 50-minute delays. Further south, the M3 eastbound at junction 9 in Hampshire has severe delays as all lanes are closed after a collision. The A470 southbound in Merthyr Tydfil is closed due to roadworks with diversions in place, and on the trains, Storm Flores is severely impacting services. Avoid travelling north of Preston on Avanti West Coast and north of Newcastle on Eleanor today. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Let us take on some of your financial stresses and pay your mortgage or rent for the next 12 months. We want to give you a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an unbelievable £20,000. We'll also boost that by a further £5,000, so you really could have some fun in the coming year. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News. At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hello there, very good morning to you. The Home Office has launched a new drive. You think you'll have heard of it before. They say smash the gangs. Have heard that before, but they've put £100 million behind this one.
Yes, 300 new National Crime Agency officers and high-tech surveillance tools will be deployed across borders.
But does it sound like we've heard of it, it doesn't work, so why are we doing it again?
To go after the criminal gangs, to smash the gang networks.
To smash the smuggling gangs.
Smash the gangs.
To smash the gangs.
Well, with record-breaking numbers of small boats reaching British shores each week, the question on everyone's lips this morning is, can the government actually regain control of our borders?
Well, the Conservatives said they would stop the boats. Labour have said they'll smash the gangs, but numbers, 25,000 people have crossed the Channel illegally so far this year. That is a record. Will any of this make any difference? We'll bring you the plans shortly.
University asylum crackdown. Places of higher education could be barred from accepting foreign students if the institutions don't tighten up their checks, all part of a wider push to fix the broken immigration system.
Furious storm Flores. These are live pictures that you've got on your screen now as trains and ferries are cancelled as danger to life warning has been issued for parts of the UK, with gusts reaching up to 85 miles per hour.
Thousands of you who bought cars on finance before 2021 could be in line for a payout after the ruling on Friday suggested you wouldn't be. The financial watchdog is looking at a compensation scheme.
US sanctions loom for Russia as Donald Trump's Ukraine peace deadline draws to a close, with Putin defiant and relations between the two leaders at breaking point.
And in sport, I tell you who said cricket isn't exciting.
Me.
England need 35 runs to seal a 3-1 win at the Oval this morning, while India need 4 wickets to draw the series and could be bowling to a one-armed man. There's something that you mustn't miss. Lando Norris won the Hungarian Grand Prix as Lewis Hamilton called himself absolutely useless. And we are going to do this. The British Lion, who can finally meet his daughter, who was born during the first test against Australia.
Where was she born?
Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds for many of us on Monday, with an amber weather warning in force this morning. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
What car? Whose car? What are you talking about?
2 minutes past 8, coming up to nearly 3 minutes past 8. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Talking about that rugby story and as to where that child was actually born. I don't mean the country.
In a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a car.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the whole thing. It also involves the children all having names beginning with the letter A as well.
Ooh.
I will go through it all a little bit later.
Great. Look forward to it.
It's very deep and convoluted.
Have you ever heard of anybody called Flores? You know, the storm is coming in, it's called Flores, and they name it after somebody who works in the Met Office or whatever it is. I mean, who the heck in real life have you ever met called Flores?
Have they run out of Fs? Is that what it is?
They like to go for nice
Frank,
obscure
Florence.
names, yeah. But Frank sounds like a storm. It's a nice, strong.
But they must have
name.
used Frank before.
They must have done.
Not necessarily.
Well, I would imagine they would have done.
Well, Flores, which I thought was a woman's name, is actually a man's name.
Yeah, it's not really a very manly name, is it?
It's not masculine, is it? No. I thought it was
Flores?
I thought it was a lovely, feminine, cute name.
I agree.
No.
Flores.
For men.
It's very nice.
Well, it means, I think it means gold in Italian.
So what's that got to do with winds and bad weather?
Well, I don't know, but
No, it doesn't match
it's still
up,
a
does it?
rubbish name.
Is there a person that actually you're in charge of choosing the name of
names?
I don't know, but I'd like that job. I'd like to be on board
I'd
for
like
naming
that.
storms. We
Yeah.
could get very creative.
What would you name it then if it was F? Because they do it in alphabetical order, don't they? I think each time on to the next one, on to the next one. I believe that to be the case.
So I would say Florence Nightingale.
Florence.
Well, there you are.
Yeah.
Anyway, that storm over Northern Ireland at the moment, in the Republic of Ireland as well, and into Scotland, the way the shape of it is. We'll show you the weather map shortly. And then, but most of England and the south of England and Wales are going to avoid this.
Yeah.
Floressless.
Yeah, Flores, yeah.
But if you are out and about today, do check before you travel, because there's lots of cancellations of planes and trains, and going to be very difficult driving around today as well. So maybe just stay inside and watch GB News. Maybe that's the answer.
OK.
This morning.
Let's now go to the Shadow Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury, James Wild, this morning. James, good morning to you. You have the right idea. You're indoors. You're not going to be affected by Storm Flores today.
Tuned into GB News.
as ever.
Yes, very, very wise. Can we start by asking you about the Home Office, who have launched this huge new drive to smash the gangs? £100 million, yes, we're being told. This is for 300 new National Crime Agency officers and high-tech surveillance. Will it work to smash the gangs?
Well, this just feels like it's a gimmick to distract from the figures last week showing 25,000 people have already arrived illegally, a record number, and over the last year it's 48,000. And the reason for that and the numbers going up is because Labour scrapped the deterrent that we had in place. We hadn't operationalised it, I accept, but the scheme to remove people if they arrive illegally is key to breaking this business model of the gangs. And I fear that this is just an announcement that would trying to distract from that. And it was the NCA, the National Crime Agency itself, that said you need to have a deterrent, a removals policy, otherwise you're not going to succeed on this topic. And it's clear from the last year we haven't seen the numbers coming down. Indeed, they're going up.
You know, honestly, we sit and look at all of this, James, and it really is quite pathetic. It's so easy to stick the boot in. 100 million quid is nothing as a deterrent. Why are we doing this? Is this all France is doing in return for that £100 million? This slogan, smash the gang, smash the boat sort of thing, none of us are falling for it anymore. And although you guys... I mean, we can say in your defence the Rwandan scheme wasn't tried and tested, so no one will ever know. But one thing I do know, I will say, you don't get this migration scheme sorted and you've lost the next election. Not you, obviously, but anybody stands on the current ticket.
Absolutely, there's huge frustration. That's a big part of why we had such a bad result at the last election. But we did have that deterrent scheme ready to go. And if you look at what happened in Australia, they had a deterrent scheme that worked. If you look at what President Trump's done in America, he's come in with a no-nonsense approach to protecting the border, and he's basically stopped illegal immigration. So it's really about political will here, and Labour have not shown that. And just hiring more people, how long is that going to take? They've had a year already. They're now decided they need to have more people in place. It's just tinkering at the sides when it needs to be clear. If you come here illegally, you'll be detained and sent home or sent to a safe third country. And if you have that linkage, then no one's going to be spending £5,000–10,000 to get on a dinghy leaving France if they know they're going to end up somewhere that isn't the UK.
So what do you make of one in, one out as a policy?
Well, it's really 17 in and one out, and it could be as few as 50 people a week. We had 890 odd arrived on a single day last week. It's pie in the sky, and there's real frustration. My constituents, your viewers, are fed up with these kind of headlines. They want to see action, and they want to see the numbers come down. All they can see at the moment is the numbers are ticking up.
James, is the sort of action that we are going to see, whether we want to see it or not, what we saw in London and Manchester yesterday, the protests outside these migrant hotels?
Well, people are concerned about that. I've had it in my own area of Norfolk, where people are concerned that families were being moved out and young males were being moved into a hotel instead. And we've got to respect the local communities and put them in appropriate places. And that's not likely to be hotels in areas like this. And that's another failing. Labour said that they would reduce the number of hotels being used, but actually the number of people in hotels is going up. So people are sick and tired of these promises that are made and not kept and not delivered. And even the one in, one out, the government announced this a month or so ago, and nothing's happened to actually put it into action. So they need to get back to having a effective deterrent policy. Otherwise, all of these things, technology, more NCA officers, they might make some difference at the margin. But the fundamental premise, you can still get to the UK and you've got a good chance of getting asylum and staying here with all the benefits that comes with that, will remain. That's what we've got to break.
What do you make of the government's plan to crack down now on people using university as a backdoor way to claim asylum? So the plan would be that they would now fine or give sanctions to universities for students who either don't start their course or don't finish their course. Now, we know that thousands of people do this every single year. So is this a good start, and do you think it will work?
Yeah, I think it's about 16,000 people who came on courses that then applied for asylum. I think we need to go further. We need to stop anyone coming on a student visa from being able to claim asylum. There's clear abuse going on here. One of the things we changed before the last election was to stop students being able to bring family members with them as well, for example, which is also creating problems. So yeah, anything that cracks down on abuse of the system, of the legal visa route, should be supported. And we need to make sure people are coming to do actual proper courses and not just being used as a route to get into the country and then stay here.
And James, to the people who were protesting yesterday around the country, obvious and serious concerns from them. This is the response from the government today. What would you say to either side, either the protesters or the government, about getting this right?
Well, I think people have a right to protest, but they obviously need to do that within the law, and there can't be any form of intimidation. But I think it's entirely appropriate for people to make their feelings known. As I say, in terms of the protest in Norfolk, that's been people have been concerned about the change of the type of people who are going to be in the hotel there. So it's got to be sensitive to the local communities. And what I think has happened too often is the government isn't talking to MPs, isn't talking to local authorities before they place people in hotels. These are the people who know their areas. They can advise on where would be sensible if they have to be placed in that local community. We're not seeing that properly from the government, unfortunately. And that's why you then see scenes and the frustration that people have.
Can I ask you about the front page of the Telegraph today? Liz Truss saying that Kemi Badenoch is not telling the truth about Tory failures. She's written in the Telegraph today saying that the Tories are in serious trouble unless they begin to admit that the failings they made in their last government on human rights and the economy. What do you make of her comments?
Well, I think she's responding to an article Kemi had yesterday, which was fundamentally about the need for us as a country to live within our means. We accept, and she accepts, the mistakes we made, but we've got to make the numbers add up. And what we're seeing at the moment is a government that's put up taxes by £40 billion a year, massively increasing spending, which is going to be £100 billion a year higher by the end of the Parliament, and is borrowing huge amounts to fund that. And there's a real danger that we're going to get into a debt spiral because they keep putting up taxes. We're seeing lower growth as a result. They see more borrowing, and it's costing us more to borrow money. So, yeah, we made mistakes in government, that's for sure. But we're calling the alarm now that we've got to return to living within our means, have fiscal responsibility. And we're not seeing that, unfortunately, from the government, which is why everyone's expecting there to be further tax rises in the autumn, potentially freezing the income tax threshold even longer. And if you do that, that's going to choke off growth. So they need to look at the spending side of the ledger, but they couldn't even deliver fairly minor welfare savings when that welfare budget on health and disability benefits is set to rise to £100 billion. They're only looking to make £3 to £5 billion of savings, and their backbenchers weren't prepared to do that.
Well, James Wilde, speaking from his perspective as Shadow Exchequer Secretary. James, thanks for your time this morning. We'll leave it there, and we'll bring in our political correspondent, Catherine Foster, as to what James had to say there. Catherine.
Well, he used the words frustration and impatience, and I think that's where a large chunk of the public are on this, because, you know, the Tories for 14 years said they were going to get migration down. They said they would stop the boats. We'll never know if Rwanda would have worked because, of course, Rishi Sunak called the election just about 3 weeks before those planes were supposed to go off into the sky. So, you know, they say it was a deterrent. Well, we'll never know. And now we've got this announcement today, and it does feel a bit like Groundhog Day. Yeah. It feels like these announcements come round and around and around. So 100 million... better detection tech, you know, up to 300 extra National Crime Agency officers. We will get more details of this supposed one-in, one-out scheme that we are going to be launching with France. We probably will get more details of that midweek. But look, the numbers on that will be initially very small. It's just a pilot scheme, 50 a week. And we're at now, what, 25,000 plus this year. That is up over 50% on where we were last year. So it does feel, I mean, you know, the Conservatives are saying tinkering round the edges. Lots of people would say that they did exactly the same. But I think, you know, we have all these promises, and yet we see the pictures you see on our screens again and again, largely young men arriving in this country. And I think, you know, when many people are struggling with the cost of living, seeing these people then put up in hotels, 4-star hotels, pocket money, able to work illegally. Often, you know, people really feel that someone needs to get a grip. It doesn't feel like the government are doing so. And of course, this is partly why Reform are surging in the polls. They've never been in power. They can make all of these pledges safe in the knowledge that there's no chance of them delivering on them for at least 4 years.
But is sending money to the French even the right approach anymore? I mean, how much have we sent to them? 700 million, 800 million?
Hundreds of millions have been
And we're now
pledged.
looking at another 100.
And another 100, exactly.
And what are we getting in return?
Well, they say they've stopped a lot of crossings, but the thing is, of course, that people on the Channel coast, they may make it across the first time, or they may try 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. They will just come again and again because, as James Wilde said, we do not have an effective deterrent policy. I think it's interesting that countries like Greece are getting much more hardline, sort of declaring national security emergency, saying people will be detained, will be deported. You wonder what it is going to take to bring the numbers down here. I do think the university clampdown is interesting, though, because we know that lots of foreign students come over, and so the government is basically saying that universities need to keep a check on how many of those that have been given a visa for study actually start their courses and finish their courses. And those with a considerable number that don't will be punished, because we had 16,000 asylum claims last year from students that were coming to the end of their visa.
Do you know what? Nothing's going to happen here either. I look at cities like Belfast. I think it's the same in Manchester, and you'll both name to me places where university accommodation building is just exploding. It's just going everywhere. The economy's dependent on it. Buildings dependent on it. Service industries are dependent on it. It's all a falsification, and it just creates jobs, and therefore it's not going to change.
But foreign students, huge amounts of money. 25% of total students at our universities are now foreign students, and they brought 12 billion to universities last year. So, yeah, easy to say, isn't it?
OK, hold that thought. Thank you very much indeed, Catherine Forster there. Britain is bracing for Storm Flores. That's what we're talking about today. And the Met Office says people should keep indoors and keep their doors shut.
Well, Storm Flores is expected to bring unusually windy weather, with gusts predicted to reach 85 miles per hour.
There's a danger to life warning for parts of the country there as well. John Hammond is the man in the know, meteorologist. And the storm must be pretty awful. Not awful where you are, John, looking really good where you are, my friend. But, gosh, what a name, Flores, stupid name. So there's a storm. How bad's it going to be, John?
Well, you're right. I mean, there's hardly a breath of wind here. And for the soft south, well, you might see a splash of rain and you'll get a few gusts later on in the day. But really, it's the north, which is going to be battered by Flores, Eamonn, so delightfully named, as you say. Now, this is a fairly bog-standard winter storm, but the trouble is we're in the middle of summer, and so I think the impacts will be disproportionately higher than they would otherwise be. So, yeah, gusts of 50, 60, 70 miles an hour quite widely across northern Britain. So, I mean, North Wales, Northern England, Northern Ireland and Scotland. But the focus, the main concern, is across central and northern Scotland, including the central belt, so including the likes of Glasgow and Edinburgh, where gusts later on today could reach 70, 80 miles an hour or even higher. So, yeah, there'll be lots of airborne tents and airborne bouncy castles and whatnot, no doubt about it. But on a more serious note, given that it's in the middle of summer, there'll be many more trees down than there would be in winter, for example. So the possibility of power outages. There will be disruption to travel. There have already been cancellations, ferry cancellations, train cancellations, and a lot of outdoor events taking place, of course, given that we are in the middle of the summer holidays, and quite rightly, they've been cancelled as well. Flores is not going to last all that long. I mean, the main focus of the strongest of the winds will be really from lunchtime through to, well, mid-evening, and then Flores will blow itself out, and the rain will have gone by then as well. So it's a one-day wonder, but it will cause some disruption, and I'm afraid, yes, possibly a risk to life if people don't heed the warnings, given that, yeah, these winds at this time of year are unusual.
But, John, why is it you say there'll be more destruction because it is a summer storm and because the trees are laden with leaves? And, for instance, just explain that one to me, could you?
Yeah, in the wintertime, Eamonn, of course, the trees are bare, so the wind basically blows through a tree, whereas when they've got leaves, the wind actually hits the tree and the tree falls over, in simple terms. So I think there'll be a lot more trees down than there would be with these sorts of gusts, let's say in the middle of January, compared to now when the trees are in full leaf. So trees will be down, possibility of power cuts for sure. And the railways, I know, have been cancelled across parts of northern Britain, the ferries as well. So yeah, up and down the UK, but particularly in the north, it's going to be a troublesome day for travelling. And yeah, the warning to stay at home if you possibly can. Of course, millions can't stay at home. They've got to go to work, etc. But if you can stay at home, you don't have to go out, then perhaps it's a day for watching the telly inside.
Stay watching GB News. Very good advice. Thanks, John. Bringing us up to date.
It was a pleasure, John. Thank you very much indeed. Let's bring you right up to date. Ellie here with the latest picture.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds across the northern half of the country, with an amber weather warning in force later this morning. It's across northern areas that those winds will continue to intensify through the rest of Monday morning. We could see gusts across western Scotland, the north coast of Aberdeenshire, of around 80, 85, potentially even 90 miles an hour. And even across much of northern England and Northern Ireland, we'll see some very strong wind gusts too. Temperatures on Monday will be pretty similar to what we saw on Sunday, but with those strong winds, particularly across the north, it will be feeling quite a bit fresher for all of us. Those strong winds continue as we head through Monday evening, as well as some heavy rain too. We've seen quite a bit of heavy rain around this morning, and we'll continue to see longer spells of rain across the northern half of Scotland, with heavy blustery showers feeding in from the northwest as well, perhaps even the odd rumble of thunder mixed in across Scotland this afternoon and evening. Across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, those showers perhaps a little more scattered, and the weather front that we've seen sinking its way south and eastwards continues to push offshore, so turning drier for much of England and Wales as we go through Monday night and into the early hours of Tuesday morning. The winds will gradually start to ease into the start of Tuesday morning, but it will still be really quite windy across much of Scotland and even into parts of Northern Ireland too. Brisk northwesterly winds will mean it still is a little bit fresher into the start of Tuesday, although towns and cities will generally be holding up into the double figures for most of us. A brighter start across the south, though. Plenty of prolonged sunshine, the best of any prolonged sunshine likely across England and Wales through Tuesday afternoon. But across Northern Ireland, Northern England and much of Scotland, we'll continue to see those heavy, blustery showers feeding in on that very brisk northwesterly wind. Temperatures will be close to average for most of us on Tuesday, so in the north around 18 or 19 degrees. In the south, 22 or 23 degrees.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed Home Battery Storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Now, here's your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for a whole year and get a bonus £5,000 in your bank. It's the latest Great British giveaway, of course. And guess what?
What?
If you haven't got a mortgage and you don't need to rent somewhere, you can just get cash. 15 grand is up for grabs.
That'll do nicely.
Very nice.
A win-win situation.
Exactly.
Here's how you enter.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year in the latest Great British giveaway. That's right, we'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 in cash instead. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
What's going on in the Middle East? Pro-Palestinian groups planning to besiege Labour MPs, councillors and staff today. We'll be telling you more about that one. Happy to share your views next.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camila Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camila Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, weekdays from 9 p.m.
What on earth is going on at our universities? So Professor Stephen Greer had worked for the University of Bristol for 36 years when his career was halted after a false accusation of Islamophobia. The issue arose when Greer taught about the Charlie Hebdo attacks during a human rights module, and a student who didn't actually attend the course complained. Well, I'm delighted now to be joined by Stephen Greer himself to explain what happened. Stephen, thank you very much. Tremendous to have you on the show. Can you just explain the circumstances that led up to you being accused of Islamophobia, please?
Well, out of the blue, or almost out of the blue, I received a complaint about a module I'd been teaching on a unit, a human rights unit, entitled Islam, China and the Far East, for nearly 15 years without incident. Which included the increasing critical literature about human rights issues in Islam, China, and the Far East. And my principally, as I said, the principal complaint, it did include a complaint about Charlie Hebdo, but the principal complaint was about the fact that I had referred students to the authoritative academic literature. And the student who complained was the president of BRISOC, the University of Bristol Islamic Society, who was a medical student who'd not attended any of the course himself, and he claimed to be acting on behalf of anonymous students. And there were all kinds of other procedural irregularities in the complaint, but the university decided to entertain it anyway. Okay. And I was exonerated after a 5-month inquiry. Then the university said, well, they were publicly announced. They took the module off the syllabus.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
only on GB News.
Right, pro-Palestinian groups are planning to besiege Labour MPs, councillors and staff today.
Well, it's all in a bid to push the party to take a tougher stance against Israel.
The Palestinian Youth Movement group will rally allies to take part in what they're calling a siege on Labour.
Well, this is all despite Sir Keir Starmer's recent announcement that Britain will recognise Palestine as a state in September, which the group has called the puppet regime of the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank.
Former UK ambassador to the UN, Sir Mark Lyle, with his thoughts on all this. Sir Mark, thanks for your time today. How do you see this one?
Well, good morning, Eamonn. Look, this is a very emotive issue, clearly. Keir Starmer's taken what he thinks is a difficult decision under some domestic political pressure to recognise the state of Palestine following the move by President Macron of France. Now Canada is following suit. And that is not enough for some people who are strong supporters of the Palestinian cause. And they think now that maybe they can put more pressure on the government to get further action taken by the government against Israel, perhaps suspending all arms sales, etc. So I think we're going to see this issue being very emotive in domestic politics, just as it is in international politics for the foreseeable future.
A lot of this backlash from Labour MPs has actually come from Hamas over the weekend, who have praised the move that Palestine will be recognised as a state, saying that this is one of the fruits of their labour of October the 7th.
Yes, I mean, it's not surprising that Hamas is trying to take advantage of this British move, claiming that it's a sort of victory for them, which is echoing in a way the language used by Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't think, though, that the British government would accept in any way that description, because the reality is that Hamas does not want a two-state solution any more than Benjamin Netanyahu does. They both want a one-state solution, just a completely different one state. Hamas wants a no state of Israel to exist and to be a single Islamist-run Muslim territory in the area. And of course, Benjamin Netanyahu wants the opposite. He wants the Palestinians to disappear and wants there to be just the one Jewish state. So neither side, neither Hamas nor Netanyahu actually want a two-state solution, which is what the British government and most other governments around the world believe is the only sustainable solution to this long-running crisis.
Just an interesting point I want to bring up, Sir Mark. We talk about Hamas there, we talk about the Israeli perspective on this, British and the US perspective in all of this. No one ever talks about what Russia wants in all of this. Is that important? Does Russia have an interest in what's going on here?
Russia has much less interest, I think, than it used to. It has been a traditional ally of Israel, but more an ally of convenience rather than any sort of common values. No, the Russian main interest in the Middle East was always Syria, because that's where they have military bases, etc. They've now been largely driven out of Syria by what has happened in Syria. So I think Russia's essentially withdrawn from the Middle East. China, on the other hand, is beginning to make inroads, particularly in the Gulf states. They're very interested in obtaining oil and gas from the Middle East. So I think we'll find that the Chinese influence is now probably greater than the Russian influence in the region.
What difference would it make, Sir Mark, if G7 countries like Britain, like Canada, like France were to recognise Palestine as a state? What difference would it make to the conflict? Would it allow more aid in, for example?
No, I mean, recognising a Palestinian state is not going to make any difference in the short term to relieve the humanitarian crisis. The separate steps need to be taken, obviously, for that to happen, and nor will it have an immediate impact on a wider political peace process. So it's not about, I think, the immediate reaction or the immediate impact that such a decision will take. It's more about keeping alive the possibility of a long-term solution of a two states, a Palestinian state alongside a Israel state. That's why the government has taken this step. It's not that it's going to have an immediate impact on the ground, no.
Look forward, or well, actually, I don't mean that look forward to, but we'll see what reaction these protests will have today. And Sir Mark, really appreciate your time and your perspective on things. We've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if you're travelling to work this morning, because it's not a bank holiday everywhere, is it?
No.
Only in Scotland.
Scotland and the Republic of Ireland.
There you go. Here's your traffic and travel update.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M80 southbound at Junction 6, a collision is causing congestion. 2 lanes are closed on the M5 southbound between junctions 16 and 17 due to an overturned vehicle, leading to 50-minute delays. Road closure on the A470 southbound in Merthyr Tydfil for maintenance is causing diversions. The M3 eastbound at Junction 9 in Hampshire has all lanes closed due to an incident, causing significant delays. And on the trains, Storm Flores is severely affecting Avanti West Coast services, with no travel recommended north of Preston. Elena services are disrupted with no travel recommended north of Newcastle. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Just looking ahead, Paul Coit back in business today. He'll be here with the sport, and we just say, hope you can join us.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Now, the Lions, the test that's going on in Australia, in Brisbane, we've got news that you may not have been expecting, and this is to do with birth news.
It's birth news.
Yes.
Birth news.
Ahead of birth news.
Birth quarter over there.
Plays for the Lions. So this was on the first test. So this was the first game between the Lions and Australia. His wife gave birth pretty much while he was playing.
Oh. Yeah.
So, you know, it was. But she's in New Zealand because he is from New Zealand, although he's Irish, plays for Ireland.
It was Jack Charlton.
One of those.
Jack Charlton behind
it's
that.
It's a bit like that. But anyway, she gave birth to his fifth child whilst he was playing in the game. So he plays for Ireland on residency grounds. Fifth child, and all his kids begin with the letter A, but he's got a couple of Irish names, which I've always struggled with.
Well, this is super Irish, isn't it?
Anya, right?
Anya.
Anya, A-I-N-E.
Yeah.
So he also has children. He's got Armani.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
Armani's not Irish.
Adriana.
No.
Also not Irish.
Andronicus. That's a lovely name.
That's Greek.
And the other one, which is A-I-L-B-H-E.
Aveen.
Alva.
Yeah.
Alva.
Alva. Is that right?
Yeah.
I believe it to be Alva.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite nice.
That's the other one.
Alva's
and Flores
nice.
is going to be the next child, by the way.
And so his name's Bundy Aki, and he's Irish.
Yes, he's Irish, yeah,
Right,
from
okay.
New Zealand. His wife gave birth in New Zealand. He's from New Zealand, but he is Irish, just to let you know. He's a very good rugby player.
I'm a great fan of golf, and particularly, I think average men players can learn an awful lot through watching really good women players, and the Women's Open was happening in Wales over the weekend.
There's a lot of very good men players that could learn from the women as well.
Yeah.
The Royal Porth Courts won by Japan's Miyu Yamashita, but she won by 2 shots over Charlie Hull. Charlie Hull, we know, is one of our greatest golfers, but she's the one that gave up cigarettes because she'd smoked fags while she was playing. Not a good look. She stopped all that. Lottie Wode, who I mentioned last week, she's our new favourite, 21 years old. She's turned from amateur to professional last week. She won the Irish Open, and she came 8th in the end. So at the age of 21, she is the one to watch.
Tell you what, you look at the leaderboard there, if you're watching it, the amount of Chinese or Hong Kong or
Far East Japanese,
Japanese, Far Eastern
huge
women golfers, incredible.
Golf is huge over there. And finally, I want to mention the cricket. England versus India. It's been an incredible series. It's gone down to the wire. It continues this morning. It's the final day. It's not going to go on until probably lunchtime. 35 runs England need, and India need 4 wickets. And look out for Chris Wokes, who dislocated his shoulder and could well be batting one-armed.
I'm a bit worried about that.
I'm a little worried as well, and I'm sure Chris Wokes' mum is too. But anyway, he'll do what he can.
Could be a great hero as a result of that.
Oh, yeah.
Paul, thank you very much indeed.
See you tomorrow.
Nice to have you back, my friend. Yes, thank you very much indeed. We also say welcome back to Claire Muldoon and Christopher Biggins. They're going through the newspapers as to what is making the news. But before all of that...
Let's have a look at the holiday sun and where the sun is shining across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
It's a bit of a mixed picture across much of Europe over the next couple of days, with thunderstorms across parts of the Balkans, but across parts of Spain and Portugal, we're going to see that heat building over the next couple of days. Maximum temperatures could be reaching up to around 40 degrees and minimum temperatures not dropping much below 20 degrees overnight too. Those thunderstorms will continue across parts of Greece and the Balkans over the next couple of days, but it should be turning a little bit drier towards the end of the week. But that heat does continue to rise by the end of the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camila Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camila Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Farage, Monday to Thursday from 7 p.m.
Just a few weeks after reuniting with Black Sabbath and performing a farewell concert for fans. And I'm joined now by Alex Dyke, radio DJ, broadcaster, formerly of the BBC, who's going to pay a bit of a tribute, I think, to Ozzy Osbourne. Alex, welcome.
Thank you very much, Nigel. You know, Ozzy will probably be remembered as the guy who shouted at his wife in the Osbourne's reality TV show from the early 2000s. But there was so much more, Nigel, to Ozzy than that. He was a pioneer of heavy metal rock. And you've got to remember, in the very early 70s, the rock that was coming out of Britain after the Beatles had split up was progressive rock. It was self-indulgent 6-minute drum solos and things like that, you know, when you think back to early Genesis and Jethro Tull. But Ozzy wasn't that at all. He was a heavy metal pioneer and a heavy metal hero. He sold over 100 million albums with his band Black Sabbath, who fired him in... Nigel, did you know he was fired by Black Sabbath?
I didn't know that. For what reason?
He was fired, Nigel, because of his drug and drink problems. He was addicted. And when we do look back at him 20 years ago in the early noughties in the Osbournes, you could see then he was frail. His body was shot because he had abused his body so badly through drink and drugs. But Sharon Osbourne, of course, his wife, was his second wife. She was his manager, and he married her in the early 80s. And he came back as a solo star with a brilliant first album called Blizzard of Oz. Ozzy was all about showbiz.
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
We've got Claire and Christopher here in the studio, and they spend much of their professional lives saying no to reality shows where they're asked to wrestle crocodiles or sharks or things like that. And you've got news. The Mirror has a story on this Who Dares wins S Club singer Hannah Sperrett and Louis Spence, the dancer, have quit celebrity SAS now. Ooh, even if I was able-bodied, that's a tough one, isn't it?
It really is tough, and I can understand why they've quit, the two of them. I mean, I watched it last night. So did you, didn't you, Claire?
Yeah, I did.
I need to watch it. I love the show.
But you won your reality TV show, didn't you?
I did, but that
King
was...
of the Jungle.
But that was in the days when, everybody was a celebrity. Now, you look at this list of people, you don't know who any of them are.
One of them is the Peru drugs girl.
That's a bit
from Northern Ireland,
isn't it? Yeah.
Who is it?
Yeah.
Who?
She's on the lineup for the show.
Yeah, the two cocaine smugglers.
Oh, that's right,
from Peru.
yes.
The one from Northern Ireland, she's in it.
That makes her a celebrity now.
Apparently.
Well, everybody's a
Rebecca
celebrity
Lewis.
now.
Yeah.
The thing with Louis Spence and Hannah Sperrett is they know what they're signing up to. They've seen the show before.
They must have done, but I think they think, oh, that's nice little paycheck. Let's do it.
And do we know why they walked out or why they cancelled, why they gave up? But
I think it was just too much for them. I mean, it's horrendous.
It's horrific.
I mean, what they put them through.
Jason Fox, one of the SAS trainers, right? Amazing guy. They all are, in fact.
Yeah.
Was on a Sunday programme yesterday, and he was, prolificating about the fact that this was starting. And he was saying it was a really good lineup, this, that, and the next thing. But the question that he was asked was, do you have to be physically fit to win, or do you have to be mentally fit to win, or both? And he went, no. He said, as long as your mind is in that game, then you have got the ability to win. But you look at some of these, the stuff that they have to go through, it's so physical.
Yeah.
And what happened to Heather Sperrett was she just couldn't fathom what was going to happen to her. And Louis Spence, by his own admission, was more interested in the guy that jumped in because he found him attractive.
Well, physical. Who was it? Olivia Newton-John? Let's get physical
with the leg warmers.
Let me hear your body talk. Your Oh, here. The Pope. The Pope has made a bit of an appearance. Tell us about that, Claire.
I mean, they say faith is dead, but if we look at in the inside pages of the Mail today and some of the other stories, other papers, Pope star Leo flies in by helicopter.
Where
not
to?
Unlike
Rome.
To Rome, outside Rome.
He's got like an Air Force One, a sort of a helicopter like the President of the USA has.
Which, of course, is white, as he is the Pope. And we had Glastonbury, the start of the festival season. Lots of celebrities were coming into the event by helicopter. And here's the Pope, and this is the Jubilee year of faith for Catholics. And it's huge millions of young people, which is so lovely to see, the faith going back to the youth. And this is a youth day. I, for one, can't get my head around the fact that this is an English-speaking Pope, because we've had Pope John Paul II, who was Polish, then Benedict, who was German, Francis, who was South American, Argentinian, and now this one. It's so funny listening to the Pope without accent.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely. But even more so, the fact that all these kids have got together in this festival of youth that's held annually.
Claire, what I would say about this is youth and anybody else, they want to appear, they want to go and worship the Pope. And I think if the Vatican has a lesson to learn, it is, and I know there's been ill health problems with previous popes and whatever, but get around the world. If you go, they will come out and follow you. I mean, I remember 1979, and I went to Galway to see Pope John Paul II. hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of people. It was an amazing experience.
And I was at Bellahouston Park that year as well, seeing him when he came to Glasgow. Yeah, it was the same year I made my confirmation. And it's beautiful. It's that ability to almost touch, you know? It's not celebrity,
That
it's
connection,
something
isn't it?
more.
But I think it's
fundamentally
encouraging
more.
that young people now
This is
are
it.
really, because they need to, the church needs to do something.
Yeah.
Because they're shutting all over. It's like pubs.
Yes,
And,
yeah.
you know, they can't
Because it's a lack of priests,
Yeah.
Christopher. There's a lack of priests. There's not the vocations there.
But hopefully it's
that
coming
once
through the
were.
ranks now, because one of the things that I most noticed at Pope Francis' funeral was actually the reverence of young people and the number of young people in the crowd. I mean, they were there from the early hours of the morning.
But Claire has got a very good point here. It's not even about buildings or whatever anymore. How do you get... I mean, in Belfast now, I would go to Mass and it would be a African or South American priest, where we used to export priests to those countries.
Yes.
They're now
They're not
exporting
coming
them to us.
Yeah, I know, and that's really sad. And I've often said, you know, where are the priests or where is the religious nuns at school events for, you know, this is a pathway, this is what you could do. There's nothing there. You've got your doctors, your nurses, your architects, your everything. But there is a choice. There is a choice of vocation. Take it. Let's pray for it. Let's see if it happens.
I'm just surprised Biggins in his acting career. I could just see him with, you know, the right sort of outfit and a little cap on there and whatever. You'd make a good pope.
I would love to be pope.
Not if you keep doing what you said in the last segment.
Well, yes. Fantastic point, Claire.
Let's not.
Oh, forgot about that.
Can we talk about the animals now? Chris, let's start with white storks. This is nice, isn't it? They're going to make a return to London skies.
I think it's wonderful.
They're going to bring babies.
I've never seen a white stork in London.
We have. I used to have a place in Portugal, and they were all around it.
Really?
And they used to nest on top of basically poles. I don't know if these were poles deliberately put in the ground so that it would attract them, or they just found them. But like lampposts, I mean, really tall, and then they'd make a little nest on the top of it.
I think they're wonderful animals, and of course, you know, if you see a stork, it means you're going to get pregnant.
Does it?
Well, I think that's an old...
But they can go
They
to
bring
a
the
metre
babies,
high.
don't they?
Yeah. They bring babies, exactly.
A metre high, it says they can go up to.
Yeah.
Well, they're
tall.
huge, aren't they? Magnificent to watch.
Yeah, they've got a wonderful wingspan, haven't they, I think?
The invasion of boozy mosquitoes.
I hate mozzies as much as I hate midges. Midges are the scourge of the north, the scourge of Scotland.
Mozzies
They're
love
awful. Are you a beer
I'm
drinker?
in trouble.
You have a very high sex hormone, which is what
Gin.
they're attracted to.
I drink a lot of gin and wine, if they're attracted to that.
Well, they must be attracted to booze, because that's what they're saying, especially beer.
Beer, I know.
So they're boozy mozzies.
Yeah.
I hate them.
That makes
Absolutely hate
sense.
them.
No, it's
I
really
think
bad.
we should, you know, petition to get rid of them.
Experts have warned that the combination of heat and storms have created the perfect breeding ground for record numbers of mosquitoes.
We've just had a wasp infestation. Which we had to get men in to
Exterminate.
Annihilate
Yes,
them.
exactly.
Exterminate.
Annihilate.
Exterminate.
Yeah.
Did they get rid of them?
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
Where were they hiding?
They were in the... We've got a gate before our front door, and they were in this little lobby area.
Oh.
And they got in...
waiting in the lobby.
Well, suddenly we were aware that there were wasps going in. And somebody pointed this out to us, and so we then had to get someone to come in, and cost £100. I thought it was quite
But
reasonable.
it's better than that than finding you and Neil's dead bodies covered in hives and bites and whatever it is. How did they die? They were attacked. Either very big mozzies or wasps.
It was a horrible moment.
Wasps have got the same relevance as head lice. What are they for?
What are they for? Like blue bottles.
What
do
do they do?
you want to hear something really scary?
What?
If you kill one wasp, I'm glad you got the experts in. If you kill one, they all come to protect the wasp that's killed, and they seek you out. So
In
you've
the
got to be very
ecosystem,
careful.
I'd love to know what they're supposed
Well,
to be
guys, we got to protect you two, leave you two there. Claire and Christopher, been a pleasure. Thank
was
you very
lovely.
much indeed.
Thank you.
Which is more than we can say for the weather.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds across the northern half of the country, with an amber weather warning in force later this morning. It's across northern areas that those winds will continue to intensify through the rest of Monday morning. We could see gusts across western Scotland, the north coast of Aberdeenshire, of around 80, 85, potentially even 90 miles an hour. And even across much of northern England and Northern Ireland, we'll see some very strong wind gusts too. Temperatures on Monday will be pretty similar to what we saw on Sunday, but with those strong winds, particularly across the north, it will be feeling quite a bit fresher for all of us. Those strong winds continue as we head through Monday evening, as well as some heavy rain too. We've seen quite a bit of heavy rain around this morning, and we'll continue to see longer spells of rain across the northern half of Scotland, with heavy blustery showers feeding in from the northwest as well, perhaps even the odd rumble of thunder mixed in across Scotland this afternoon and evening. Across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, those showers perhaps a little more scattered, and the weather front that we've seen sinking its way south and eastwards continues to push offshore, so turning drier for much of England and Wales as we go through Monday night and into the early hours of Tuesday morning. The winds will gradually start to ease into the start of Tuesday morning, but it will still be really quite windy across much of Scotland and even into parts of Northern Ireland too. Brisk northwesterly winds will mean it still is a little bit fresher into the start of Tuesday, although towns and cities will generally be holding up into the double figures for most of us. A brighter start across the south though, plenty of prolonged sunshine, the best of any prolonged sunshine likely across England and Wales through Tuesday afternoon. But across Northern Ireland, Northern England and much of Scotland we'll continue to see those heavy blustery showers feeding in on that very brisk northwesterly wind. Temperatures will be close to average for most of us on Tuesday, so in the north around 18 or 19 degrees, in the south 22 or 23 degrees.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed Home Battery Storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M3 eastbound at Junction 9 in Hampshire is experiencing significant delays due to an incident involving multiple vehicles, with all lanes currently closed. Expect delays of around 50 minutes. The situation is anticipated to clear by 12:47 this afternoon. Road users should be aware of the M74 northbound between Junction 15 and 14 due to a collision and exercise caution when approaching. In Merthyr Tydfil, the A470 southbound is closed due to planned maintenance, with diversions in place. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast services are affected by Storm Flores. Travellers should avoid heading north of Preston. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year. We'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning. The Home Office launches a huge new drive to smash the gangs with a £100 million funding boost.
We're talking about 300 new National Crime Agency officers, high-tech surveillance, and they will be deployed right across borders around the country.
But doesn't this all sound a bit familiar?
To go after the criminal gangs, to smash the gang networks.
To smash the smuggling gangs.
Smash the gangs.
To smash the gangs.
So when we're going to start doing that? There are record-breaking numbers of small boats reaching our shores each week, and the question on everyone's lips is, can the government now regain control of borders? Here's what the Shadow Exchequer Secretary, James Wilde, had to say.
This just feels like it's a gimmick to distract from the figures last week showing 25,000 people have already arrived illegally.
Well, the Conservatives calling these new measures a gimmick. Of course, Labour called the Rwanda plan a gimmick too. Will any of this make any difference? Numbers crossing the channel this year, 25,000. That is a record high.
University asylum crackdown. Places of higher education could be barred from accepting foreign students if institutions don't tighten up their checks. It's all part of a wider push to fix the broken immigration system. Question is, will it work?
Storm Flores, trains and ferries cancelled. Danger to life warnings issued. Gusts reaching up to 85 miles per hour.
That's right, gusts are expected between 85 and 90 miles an hour as Storm Flores causes havoc across the north of England.
Thousands of drivers who bought cars on finance before 2021 could be in line for a payout. It's after a ruling on Friday, with the financial watchdog looking at a compensation scheme that could cost the industry billions.
US sanctions loom for Russia. Donald Trump's Ukraine peace deadline is drawing to a close. President Putin defiant in relations between the two leaders in the USA and Russia is now at breaking point.
Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds for many of us on Monday, with an amber weather warning in force this morning. Join me later for the full forecast with all the details.
Just after 9 o'clock, a very good morning to you, whoever you're watching or listening. Good to have you on board. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Good getting in touch this morning. Always nice to hear what you think about certain things. And we were talking about the influence that maybe family have on leaders, and Melania Trump, Donald Trump's wife. Did she have an influence on him when he bombed Syria?
Yeah, loads of you getting in touch on this. Alison says Hillary Clinton was known to say, "We are the president." Herself and Bill. That's quite interesting.
Michelle Obama. Where did I miss that? Michelle Obama had a big influence and still does.
Yep, she was very vocal, wasn't she, on policy? Tim says the Queen relied heavily on Philip and they held the country together, whatever was going on in their private life.
But you see, you'd only be human to listen to people around you, and you'd be so silly not to listen to people around you, I think.
Yeah.
So to sort of act outraged that, a relation or someone they live with or the butlers had an effect on their policy, that is life. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, but then you had Mike Parry on earlier saying, well, look, if you had Boris Johnson, for example, on the ticket, you don't want to hear Carrie Johnson's influence.
You mightn't want to hear it, but I think it's quite natural.
Inevitable.
Top story this morning, the government has confirmed an extra £100 million in efforts to smash people smuggling gangs. We've heard it all before, of course.
Yes, well, the additional funding will go towards the one-in, one-out return scheme with France.
And pay for 300 more National Crime Agency officers alongside new technology to improve intelligence intelligence gathering.
Well, the changes come as figures reveal that over 25,000 small boat migrants have entered the UK this year alone. And the Home Secretary, meanwhile, claims that Labour have set the foundations for a new and much stronger law enforcement approach.
Let's get the thoughts of our political correspondent, Catherine Forster, on this one. OK, Catherine, where do we go? It's a new policy announcement today, except it doesn't sound very new and it doesn't sound very encouraging, as if it would work.
No, well, the government are keen to make a lot of noise about this because they know that people are furious with the situation. 25,000 people have crossed so far this year. That's up about 50% on where we were last year, and they said they would smash the gangs, just like the Tories said that they would stop the boats, and they're not doing any such thing at the moment. So, yes, up to 300 extra National Crime Agency officers. They say they're going to overhaul the asylum appeals process after recess to make it all much quicker to house people in hotels for less time, to reduce the cost to taxpayers. They also say that they're cracking down on ads on social media, fake passports, etc., etc. New penalties of up to 5 years in prison. And also students. We know that universities make billions and billions from foreign students, and very often when it comes to the end of the time they're allowed to be here, they overstay. Some 16,000 put in asylum claims last year. And it is worth remembering, for all the very visible failure in the Channel, that there's tens of thousands that come here legally and then stay. So lots of different strands, but will any of it make any difference? Because I just feel like we hear these announcements all the time. I was in Rome with the Prime Minister in September, where Giorgia Meloni has had some success learning about what they were doing. It feels like there's an announcement coming all the time, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and at the moment the numbers are going in completely the wrong direction.
We were talking to the Conservatives earlier, who described this all as a gimmick. But of course, that was the same language that Labour used about the Rwanda plan. And it seems like no government has an answer for this.
Exactly. They said a gimmick. That's exactly what Labour said that the Rwanda plan was. The Tories are now saying, well, you know, Rwanda would have worked. Well, we'll never know because there were so many legal challenges. Those planes never took off. So it's easy for them to say. But there is no, as far as I can see it, effective deterrent. There is a massive incentive to come here. Of course, it's a problem being faced across Europe, but, you know, many people speak English as their second language. They know that if you get here, you're likely to be able to stay. You're going to be put up in a hotel, quite possibly. You're going to be given pocket money. You can work without too much difficulty in the black market. It seems there's huge rewards for coming. And I do wonder, you know, no wonder Nigel Farage is riding high in the polls, because Reform have not been in government and they're making all these bold pledges. But you look at what's happening in Greece now, where the Greek people are really beyond furious. I think with 2,000 arrived in Crete just in a day or two. And the Greek government are basically saying for the next 3 months, they're not going to be processing any asylum claims at all. If you arrive in Greece, the Greek islands, in the next 3 months, you are going to be arrested and detained. But I can't see Labour doing anything like that.
Do you think we need to stop sending money to the French? I mean, we have sent hundreds of millions of pounds, haven't we? And it's hard to see what we're getting in return, if anything.
Well, the French would say they are doing a lot of things. They are stopping a lot of crossings. No doubt they are, but many of the people there will try. If at first you don't succeed, they'll try. Some of them have tried multiple times. If in the end you get across on your 8th or 9th or 10th attempt. But yeah, we've pledged, I think, up to about 700 million now. There are these changes we hear that will enable the police to go into shallow waters, because what's happening now is these taxi boats are basically coming along, the migrants are wading out, the police are watching from the shore. We do occasionally see the boats being slashed, but it just feels like the gangs are, frankly, running rings around us at the moment.
OK. Another area where rings seem to be running around us, Catherine, universities, which could soon be barred from accepting foreign students. Now, give us your take on this before we look at the report.
Well, yes. So there's lots of, 25% of all students in our universities come from abroad. They make 12 billion go. So it's big money. But the government are saying they're going to crack down universities where less than 95% of foreign students actually start their courses, or less than 90% finish, could be fined heavily, could be banned from having foreign students. I mean, if it happens, but 16,000 came on student visas and then claimed asylum last year. So they are a sizable chunk of the problem. And all the government will constantly tell you we are deporting more people than ever before. I think it's over 30,000 now. But it is worth remembering the vast majority of those are people who have come in legally and overstayed. There's not that many of those who have actually come on small boats, which I think is the visible thing that is making people so furious.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's another area where the leakage is happening.
Yeah.
Thanks, Catherine. Thank you very much indeed. Catherine's views there. Earlier, we spoke to the former Immigration Minister, Kevin Foster. Here are his views.
The way student visas can be abused is fundamentally if someone's sponsored to come to the UK who isn't really to the standards of doing a degree or higher education, but is prepared to pay the fees concerned, and is doing that purely because they're looking to then stay on in the UK after they graduate. People might remember about 15 years ago, Theresa May was doing a lot of work around shutting down bogus language colleges, because at that time, claiming you were coming to study English had become a way of coming here for migration. But this will be, by the look of it, quite targeted at universities. And to give people an impression of the scale, you're talking of about 400,000 visas having been issued up to March 2025. And the sort of organisations we're talking about are everything from Oxford, Cambridge, St Andrews, Warwick University, to more modern universities. And that's perhaps where some of the debate has come when you then see people claiming asylum. I think we saw 16,000 claim asylum in 2024 at the end of their courses, which in itself, that stat says people are starting to abuse this system.
Then, Kevin, do you think this could work? So universities would face sanctions if these students either don't start their course or don't end their course?
Well, there's already been this in place for a long period of time, although it's always going to be hard to actually take away a university's sponsorship licence for students. Because fundamentally, if you pulled most universities' sponsorship licence, you'd actually be closing the university down, given in recent years universities have expanded the number of international students take at full commercial rates. You know, this is not something they do for charity. You know, they will be charging quite significantly higher rates than the UK students pay to go to university. So it could, but one, it would depend how determined the government is. Are they prepared to pull a university sponsor license? And two, like we could have with the discussion on small boats, how can you remove people who seek to gain the asylum system rather than pay these sort of visa fees you'd expect to transfer into skilled worker if they've got a job at the end of their course?
Just briefly, we're talking about the students involved there who may be doing things wrongly. Any of the universities are culpable in this?
Well, I think there'd always be question marks if you've got a university that's got high numbers of people claiming asylum, or, for example, international students who are not going on into graduate level jobs. That would suggest they were people who perhaps bought a immigration status rather than an opportunity to learn. And at times you do have to ask questions if universities have larger numbers of students that are in that. Any university could have the odd person fall out, but if there's a pattern, then it's right that action's taken.
The view of a former immigration minister. You've been having your say as well, and we'll reflect those before the end of the programme.
Now, here's your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for a whole year and get an extra £5,000 in your bank as well. It's all up for grabs in the latest Great British Giveaway. And guess what?
OK, so if you're not paying rent or you don't have a mortgage, should you enter?
Yes, because you can still get cash. £15,000, yeah, up for grabs. Exactly, yes. There's something for everyone. You've got to be in it to win it, though, so here are all of the details that you need.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year in the latest Great British Giveaway. That's right, we'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 in cash instead. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. For a chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Worry today about this storm. Flores, Ellie's worried about her hair.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, well, it's all right down here, actually, I think.
It'll be okay down here, but it is battering parts of the country. It could be quite serious as well. Winds up to 85 miles per hour. Steve Bennett, our reporter, there for us, and we're going to be talking to him if his feet are still under the ground, on the ground, not under the ground, on the ground right after this.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there short and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, just like week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo Tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
We're just keeping track of this storm, Flores. Let's go to the northwest of England, and our man Steve Bennett is there for us this morning. Lytham St Anne's, and look at how bad it is there. Steve? That's not Steve.
Oh, that's not Steve.
That's
no,
not
let's
Steve.
see if we can try again with Steve, who's in Lytham St Anne's. And earlier, the rain was battering down on poor Steve. How's it looking now, Steve? Oh, it's still very, very miserable out there.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we've got you.
OK, great. Yeah, the conditions are pretty awful, as you can see. If you just take a little pan around, we're getting absolutely battered here with the wind and the rain. Up to 90-mile-an-hour winds are expected across some of northwest England and Scotland. The advice has already been not to travel on the trains past Preston, and you can see why. Just driving over here today, conditions on the road pretty awful. So the advice to anybody, apart from us clearly, is stay at home, stay safe, only go out if you absolutely need to. There is a danger to life currently in danger to life warning currently out, as you can see why, because the conditions are so bad here across the northwest of England. But what the positive is, it will blow through quite quickly, and by tomorrow hopefully things will be back to normal. These kind of big storms do tend to do that. They do tend to breeze through quite quickly. So as it currently stands, danger to life, 85, 90-mile-an-hour winds. Stay at home, don't come out, don't be like us, don't stand out here and get smashed in the wind and rain. It's not pleasant for anyone.
You've got it under control. At least you're you know, ready for the conditions. But Steve, very, very different. Just a few hundred miles away, less than a few hundred miles away in London, where it's all very calm indeed.
Absolutely. If you live down south, you're winning today. You're not going to get anything down there. It's just going to be the northwest Scotland, just the north of England, pretty much. Everybody from kind of Birmingham below, by the looks of it, are going to be just fine. So annoyingly, you guys can stay nice and dry while we get nice and wet.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Is there somewhere you can go get a nice cup of tea? Warm up a bit? No.
I doubt it, to be honest.
Okay.
Do you know the way Steve? Thank you. We got the camera message there. You look at people and sometimes they say, "Oh, it's fine. I could bring the dog for a walk." And that. Do you think you could bring the dog for a walk along that beach today?
I certainly wouldn't. I mean, the winds are pretty strong. I think it would be, you'd put yourself at risk, to be honest, to be out in here today. If you were jogging, walking the dog, wouldn't really be sensible. It is absolutely battering, blowing in sideways, as I'm sure you can see. Definitely not ideal conditions to be out and about today. Stay nice and warm in the studio. That's my advice to both of you.
Oh, well, Steve, thanks for being out there for us.
You're bringing us the atmosphere anyway. Who's your camera today? Who have you got?
JC, John's on there.
JC's working hard.
Yeah,
Thank you very much,
hard.
you two.
Make it all happen. Speak to you again later if you're still there, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. I was watching the Goodwood races on Saturday. I have never seen torrential rain like that. You saw the camera being wiped there, but it was incredible. They just got a race in and then everybody was absolutely drenched.
Oh, no, spectators and the poor horses.
Yes.
The jockeys as well.
We've got...
Did you have any winners?
Well, I did all right.
Oh, we had a flutter. We had a flutter.
Andrew and Dawn from 9:30. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning. Yes. Well, we've got a Nigel Farage press conference at 11. He's unveiling another defector, we think.
Oh, OK.
Almost certainly probably a former Tory MP, I imagine. I still think they need to they need a big defector from the Labour Party.
Yes, and I can see it happening the way they're going, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
so we'll be going there and covering that and finding out what is happening there exactly. We're expecting that round about 11 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll be bringing you all the
He's always
details
box office,
on that.
isn't he?
Yes, exactly. We're also going to be covering more on the Britannia Hotel at Canary Wharf in Tower Hamlets and finding out what's happening going on there.
It's your neck of the woods.
It is my neck of the woods, and in my neck of the woods we have 3,200 homeless families. And we're putting migrants up in
And these migrants have got walked straight into this hotel.
Yeah, four-star hotel.
Isn't it?
It's a really nice hotel. And we've also got a prison officer who was sacked for refusing to refer to men as women.
Wow.
So that's going to be an interesting one. Pretty packed show.
Fancy being sacked for just sticking up for,
Talking about biological
a man,
facts.
woman's a woman. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, and you want to do some Strictly Come Dancing as well?
I just think the BBC have got to get a grip. What on earth's going on in that show?
Oh.
Now it's rampant drug use, apparently.
So we'll be chatting around the studio as well for you.
Well, I look forward to that. Stay tuned.
Have a good show, guys. We'll see you in the morning. Here's the weather.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather from the Met Office. Storm Flores has arrived, bringing unseasonably strong winds across the northern half of the country, with an amber weather warning in force later this morning. It's across northern areas that those winds will continue to intensify through the rest of Monday morning. We could see gusts across western Scotland, the north coast of Aberdeenshire, of around 80, 85, potentially even 90 miles an hour. And even across much of northern England and Northern Ireland, we'll see some very strong wind gusts too. Temperatures on Monday will be pretty similar to what we saw on Sunday, but with those strong winds, particularly across the north, it will be feeling quite a bit fresher for all of us. Those strong winds continue as we head through Monday evening, as well as some heavy rain too. We've seen quite a bit of heavy rain around this morning, and we'll continue to see longer spells of rain across the northern half of Scotland, with heavy blustery showers feeding in from the northwest as well, perhaps even the odd rumble of thunder mixed in across Scotland this afternoon and evening. Across Northern Ireland, northern parts of England, those showers perhaps a little more scattered, and the weather front that we've seen sinking its way south and eastwards continues to push offshore, so turning drier for much of England and Wales as we go through Monday night and into the early hours of Tuesday morning. The winds will gradually start to ease into the start of Tuesday morning, but it will still be really quite windy across much of Scotland and even into parts of Northern Ireland too. Brisk northwesterly winds will mean it still is a little bit fresher into the start of Tuesday, although towns and cities will generally be holding up into the double figures for most of us. A brighter start across the south, though. Plenty of prolonged sunshine, the best of any prolonged sunshine likely across England and Wales through Tuesday afternoon. But across Northern Ireland, Northern England and much of Scotland, we'll continue to see those heavy, blustery showers feeding in on that very brisk northwesterly wind. Temperatures will be close to average for most of us on Tuesday, so in the north around 18 or 19 degrees. In the south, 22 or 23 degrees.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed Heat Pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M74 northbound faces delays between junctions 15 and 14 due to a collision. Be cautious in this area. In Worcestershire, the M5 southbound between junctions 4A and 5 has a collision closing 2 lanes, causing delays of about 1.5 hours. In Merthyr Tydfil, roadworks have closed the A470 southbound with diversions. In Devon, between the A35 and the A303, the A30 eastbound has